Big roar from this enormous crowd. And the two teams go into their final preparations for what is going to be an historic day.
Righto, time to get the questions answered. It's been unbelievably hard to work out where this game's going to go. You can't possibly give a prediction with any really great confidence. Last week there were moments in a game that players distinguished themselves, separated themselves from mere mortals, from mere footballers. There were moments in the game where others didn't, where perhaps just we'll look back on in years to come and go, I could have gone harder. They get a second chance, Spud. They get a second chance 7 days later. Unbelievable position to find themselves in. It's going to be ferocious from start to finish.
No, that's what we expect. You see the corn toss, JB?
Here we go. Very fortunate lady able to do the honours. And it has been won by Nick Maxwell, who's elected to kick to the city end again.
There was a big roar there from Collingwood. You're right, Gaz. Jason Graham didn't have a great game, but his last 30 seconds, he come up his man to spoil it just in front of us to force the draw. So, might be your day, but you've got to be ready for your moment. McAvoy starting on the ground. It'll be interesting to see whether he starts Cozzy in the ruck or McAvoy. I don't think he's going to change too much. I'll be surprised if it's not Revolt, Kosiski, and then McAvoy in the ruck. It's pretty important early. Collingwood dominated out of the centre nice and early.
21st quarters won so far, 11 to 20 to Collingwood. First quarter's won and the St Kilda 11. So the start is absolutely critical. Halfway through the first quarter last Saturday, we sat here going, this has got disaster written all over it for the Saints. They managed to get back was a fantastic effort. Can they do it again? Remains to be seen. They want to be closer at quarter time.
No, there's no doubting that. It's just interesting again that Blake is starting on the ground. Here is the secondary ruckman. So it might be McAvoy Cozzy changing out of the goal square into the ruck. It looks like Blake could be that one. He may be the one to go into Nick Maxwell and do that Maxi Rook type role and defend Nick Maxwell.
Well, the first thing you want to see, Spud, I reckon, is to see where Gilbert's heading, and he's going down to the back half, Sammy Gilbert. So that will be one that they'll have up their sleeve, you'd reckon. McAvoy into the middle, Del Santo and Montagna inside forward 50, McQualter, also Kazitsky and Milne.
Yeah, and down the other end, obviously, we've got Travis Cloak and Big Doors, Lee Brown there as well. So the big boys down there with Sidebottom, McCaffer. Sidebottom played a terrific game last week. Dale Thomas started in the middle. He went up in another 2 levels last week in the grand final. Dale Thomas for his assault at the ball.
Jones starting in the centre square, which suggests he gets another big job. Yep. Didak up high. Dempster coming up to him, so no surprise there. I don't think any of the other matchups are going to be great surprise. Dawson starts getting in the face of Travis Cloak as he did last week.
Pendlebury starting forward.
BJ Goddard just banging into ball before, so letting him know.
He's trying to find who's going to go for Maxwell. Is it McQualter's going to get the job with Maxwell? Trying to make him accountable. Here we go.
Thomas with Goddard as we're about to get this underway. Thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocks the grand final. Here's Big Rex.
Knocked out by Jolly into the ring again, and Goddard came through, but here comes Snyder. Hand past it wild, but running onto it, Lee Brown of Collingwood. Buffeted his way through and kicked it to the right half forward. Here comes the Pendlebury. He got it inside on his right boot, and Cloak will mark it. Cloak marks it in the centre square. Will kick the first goal. Last week it was 18 seconds. It's almost a carbon copy.
22 seconds, Rex. Beautifully called again, Rexy. It's amazing. Travis Clayton, we talked about when he has his first shot at goal, you'd think it'd be 40 metres out. He's kicking directly in front, 2 metres out.
Blood rule coming off.
Gee, it's a great start. Zach Dawson's a player coming off.
Oh, they've turned it back. Pendlebury's given away a free kick to Clinton Jones.
Oh, you're kidding.
Oh, that's the last thing he had to do. I saw it. Jones was into him.
Great pick-up, Spud. That is a massive turnover.
I cannot believe that. Pendlebury owes his team now.
They have cost themselves a glorious start to this grand final, Collingwood.
Extraordinary, Jim. Extraordinary moment.
Travis Cloak wanted a shot, Gaz. He couldn't ask for a better shot.
You get Cloak up with his confidence. They hit the scoreboard early and put doubt in the mind of the opposition. All of a sudden, they turn it over.
Wilt short and hits Blake at half-back. Unbelievable scenes at the G. When goals are like gold, they've just handed one back. Across the face of goal goes Blake and gets it back to Gwilt. He's got a long option in Snyder. He's broken out the back, the little man, takes the mark, thought about the wheel and go. Up comes Cozzy, hits up at the footy. Did he get a push? No, free kick. And side bottom at the back's able to pick it up and release Johnson.
Johnson now off the left half-back flank, kicks it down towards the wing position, and here's a long ball down towards Pendlebury again at the back. Sam Fisher.
Free kick Pendlebury, well called. Rex Baker, that's a bit of a worry for St Kilda.
Thomas pushing forward on Lenny Hayes too, aggressively.
Left half forward, City End, Southern Grandstand side comes in, and this is Ball. Ball accepts the Pendlebury offering. Now Snyder called back on the mark, and Ball just waiting till he gets someone. He now goes short to the left half forward flank. Dawes was interfered with, but Sam Fisher comes back, takes a mark and plays on.
Poor kick.
Plays on quickly to Goddard and goes with a little handball to Gilbert, who gets corralled. And that's not a great kick.
Good pressure,
Dropped
Jolly.
it straight up to Harry O.
Well, a couple of horrible mistakes. First of all, from Luke Ball, the last thing they want to do is kick the footy to Sam Fisher, and he sent it down his throat. But then the Collingwood forward line pressure came into play. We saw it early last week, and it ended up in the hands of Harry O'Brien. This time he's closer to goal.
Set shot to the City end from about 50.
Prefer him on the run.
45-degree angle. Kick on the way is way left. Out in the full or a mark? It's out in the full.
So the nerves just starting to show, and why wouldn't it? Because this is a lifetime prize for one of these sides. This is for life. This is a bond outside 50. It went out towards McAvoy. Over the top goes Maxwell. Thump towards Shaw on the boundary line. It's over. Left half forward. No score yet. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard. The MCG bathed in sunshine.
Nick Rewalt playing a lot deeper now. Cozzy up the ground. Nathan Brown and Rewalt.
Hayes and McAvoy work the footy to the front. Picked up by Swan. Left foot inside 50. Kick astray. It gets to the back. And it's picked up now by Fisher. He's got nowhere to go. Handball. And eventually they bust it out, but only as far as Cloak, who sees it over the line. Deep City end for a thrown-in ball.
Well, again, Collingwood dominating. Carlton Draft, 3 inside 50s. Yet to score, Collingwood.
They haven't even looked like a thrust forward yet, the Saints. Throw in. Ball ends up with the jolly tap. Has the footy stripped out of his hands. Bit of a scramble. Picked up by Milne. Good tackle from behind. Kick from McCaffer. Marked in the square, not paid. Scrambling ball. Side bottom, couldn't get boot to it. Still the Saints go. Handball over the top will work to Gilbert. Gilbert's kick out of there. Marked by Brown.
Great forward line pressure. They've got the full press happening here.
Nathan Brown, a mongrel finger breaker. Oh, Goddard stands there and he takes a wonderful mark at centre half back.
Revolt's off. Look at the run of Revolt.
And now on the left boot, Revolt Dowd comes in and takes a mark on the emblem on the right wing position out of side. He turns around. He's got a bit of a lead down there from Cozzy. Kazitsky can't get it. Maxwell will come through. He takes it. He has a bit of a look on the left boot and goes whop over there towards Beams. Side bottoms is there. Side bottom now picks it up and goes inside 50. Here comes a bit of a lead. Dawes. Cloak will knock it on. A Cloak not it from a knock on. Cloak kicks it up there and here's a goal.
Goldsack on the ground.
The sad sack is marked at Goldsack. 18 metres out, should score.
Well, I tell you, Spud, you can tell us how he got there, but it's Kazitsky in the forward line's inability to trap the footy and keep it in there that is the worry.
What he does, Cozzy, he runs under the ball too much, Gary. He's got to defend the ball and bring the ball down. Goldsack came on the ground for the kick-in. There is no doubt a set play from Mick Malthouse.
Third chance must go through. Goldsack, 18 minutes, goal from 18 metres out. And Collingwood have got the first on the Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard. There are goals, 6 points, and Kilda yet to score. And 5.5 minutes into the grand final.
Well, already disposals in the forward half, 10 to none. In the inside 50s at the moment, 5 zips. So haven't gone inside 50. I'm looking at my notes from last week, Spud. The inability of St Kilda when they do get it in their forward 50 to keep it either keep it in under pressure or put pressure on the way out is a worry, and Cozzy is the worry. He went into the ruck in the second half and they got a much more mobile, aggressive forward half.
Let's get down to the dock, SPC Manbeans.
Yeah, both clubs running interchanges already. Clint Jones off with a second blood rule for the Saints, bleeding from the mouth, so it's pretty heavy out there, James.
First goal of the year for Goldsack. He's in for Leon Davis, who kicked a goal, so Mick Malthouse vindicated putting Goldsack in.
One straight Collingwood, no score as yet. St Kilda, McAvoy over the top of the footy. Jolly with him, we'll have another bounce.
Eddie now is going to Max. Look at the work that's Eddie's putting into Maxwell at the moment. The umpire all over it. Maxwell pleading with the umpire.
So him and McGualda look like they're going to double team Nick Maxwell.
couple of Saints in that passage of play. Gaz didn't get defensive side.
No, not working hard enough, Jim.
And allowed the footy to go again as this one gets taken forward almost by Johnson. Nicky Dowell's handball missed its target. It's nice and tough in close. Back goes Farron Ray. Kick didn't go far enough. He gets it going forward. Going to bounce into the path of Revolt and through his legs. At the back, Eddie hit it really hard.
Well done,
Harry O wins the footy. Has a bounce down the outer side. Now he has to sit and contemplate. Kicks an end-on-ender forward. Will work though, although Gwilt got in the way. Handball into the path of Lenny Hayes. Had to work hard on Wellingham. Leonard sees it out, and it's going to be thrown in outer side.
Goes Goldsack start on the bench. He's gone to Sam Fisher. So he's come up the bench, kicked the goal, and I'm pretty sure he's going under Sam Fisher, and Blake's trying to get him. So, but Goldsack won't have any of that. He's going straight to Sammy Fisher.
7.5 minutes, first term, Collingwood a goal. St Kilda yet to score. Through the hands over there of Swan. Throw the blanket over 20 players. The umpire's having a good look, and he might actually bounce this again.
We'll just have a look at it again. I think Goldsack now. Blake's got Goldsack, which means Fisher's free. So it's amazing how Collingwood just allow Sam Fisher continue to be free at these stoppages.
Slightly forward to St Kilda, left half forward flank, 80 metres out for Collingwood rather. The ball came out to Farron Ray. It came through to Shaw. He can't get it, but Goddard did, and he underground hand passed it into the centre of the ground, and here comes Maxwell. He tried to run through Snyder, who went was a boom crash opera. This is tough. I tell you what, there's a few people sitting outside the fence that wouldn't have any trouble passing things, because this is tough.
Great tackle, Snyder. Stopped Maxwell in his tracks. Needed to be done.
Bounce, centre square, work to ground. Heath Shaw had a fresh airy. Wellingham picked it up. Long inside 50. Here's Blake, and with him Goldsack. Gwilt's playing nice football. His handball was too fierce.
Dawes.
Busted out of his hands by Dawes. Well done, Gilbert. Met him on the line, saw it through for a behind. 1-1-7 Collingwood. St Kilda yet to score. Triple M. Harvey Norman scoreboard.
They play one loose at the clearances, Sparta, and drop one off the back. That's how they allow Fisher to get free.
It's okay for St Kilda, but the facts are 6 inside 50s. St Kilda have not got past the 80-metre mark from their forward line yet.
Yet they're only a goal down, which is, like last week, a blessing.
Goddard to Gwilt, and Gwilt marked it and kicked it outside 50 to Revolt over the top. Nathan Brown of Collingwood. Oh, a high tackle, and the umpire said, no, it wasn't. I'm going to bounce it again. Right half forward for Collingwood going to the City End members' side. There's 7 points. St Kilda yet to score. So the umpire goes thump. Beautiful conditions for football. Oh, knocked out by Lee Brown. Kosicki's free kick. You heard that from umpire, whoever his name is, Ryan.
Yeah, well, this is where St Kilda gained advantage last week when Lee Brown went into the ruck. Cosy too tall.
Cosy got it back to Del Santo, who got it back to Sam Fisher, who got it on further towards Blake, and Blake's off after the right half-back flank.
Blake looks to go, hasn't got much to go to. Little short ball, just marked by Farron Ray.
A couple of his efforts earlier have been magnificent, Ray.
And he'll come to Nicky Dowell, half-back members' side. Long ball for Montagna on. Has a bounce, Nicky Dowell. And then tries to spear it and kicks it straight into the guts of Possum-Eyes Tuvey.
Well, they had to pull the trigger earlier, Nicky Dowell.
Tuvey, left foot, long ball. Wilton Dawes, fisted away. All Saints back here. Jones, was he held when he didn't have it? No, free kick. He's over the top of it now and can't release the footy. Umpire's going to bounce it half forward for the Maggies.
Once again, it's the half forward line of St Kilda that's given them enormous issues. They've outnumbered once again. Revolt outnumbered, can't get it through.
Thanks to McDonald's, Triple M rocks the 2010 grand final rematch. Centre wing members' side knocked out by Blake. Wellingham went without it.
Free kick, Jason.
It's against Lee Brown, says the umpire, and it's going to go to Blake.
Another rucking infringement against Lee Brown.
So Blake on the left half-back flank members' side. St Kilda going to the punt road end, have not scored. Collingwood a 1-1-7 on the Triple M scoreboard. That's the Harvey Norman scoreboard. A long ball down towards Revolt. Revolt's there. Nathan Brown over the top. Thumped it down towards the dock. Here comes Cozzy over the boundary line and out of play.
Long and slow suits Collingwood down the line like that to Nick Revolt.
Well, we'll have a look at it now. Cozzy's in the rack and Blake, which means that Reed's allowed to drop off. Cozzy's got to work back hard to get a one-on-one.
Blake and Brown straight to Jones. Can't get his foot to the footy. Eventually Goddard got it out of there to Lenny Hayes. Through comes Peake. Neither can be clean. Players went to ground. No one actually had a handle on the ball. In the end, Graham to Jones. No one home. Maxwell stands his ground inside forward 50.
Unbelievable. Nick Maxwell's not there. Nick Revolt gets to the footy first.
Side bottom, just to Heath Shaw. Now the overlap running from Maxwell. Maxwell goes by hand, a ball. Just got his handball away in front of Baker. Wilt put a nice lick on Leroy Brown, and there's going to be a bounce on the wing.
He second gets himself there, Luke Ball. Look away handball, under pressure. Just must do the basics.
13th minute of the grand final, first term in Collingwood. 1-1-7. St Kilda get the score on the Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard. Knocked out over the top there by Jolly. Another scrimmage, and the umpire to bounce it again.
Carlton draft stats, Hayes and Montagna both statless, inside 50s, 6-1 Collingwood's way.
Fisher back off the pack now. Heath Shaw or Harry O'Brien loose.
Jolly going up against McAvoy, used his body and experience well. Tackled Jones, and the umpire says, I'm going to put it down again.
Well, St Kilda have only had one handball in their forward half, compared to Carlton draft Collingwood have had 13. So desperately need a winner around that half forward line, St Kilda.
1-1-7 to the Saints, yet to score. And some pushing and shoving going on in tight here. Again, no one can get it out. The umpire, I think for the 5th time, is going to bounce in exactly the same spot.
Well, just some of the midfield matchups. Jones definitely going with Swan. Hayes and Ball appear to be the two. And Tuvey is the one who's shoulder to shoulder with Goddard.
Bounce on the wing again. Jolly hooked it to the back. Johnson went without it. McAvoy got a handball sideways. Goddard steps through traffic. Long ball. Revolt and Kazitsky doing some pushing and shoving. No one able to get clean possession. Harry O just shoveled it out to Maxwell. His handball. Does it get to Steele side bottom? Yes, it does. And his left foot ball will release Blair out of side. Blair able to straighten up. Not a hell of a lot to go to. Kick needs to be very good to McCaffrey. It wasn't. McCaffrey trapped it well though. His handball back to Blair. Just got to step back and really have a look at what's ahead of him. There wasn't much, so he dumped it down the line and it was fisted over.
They're defending really well, Collingwood. Don't take any away their defenders. 6 spoils. Collingwood, the Carlton draft, only 1 to St Kilda.
Cozzy off from that forward line right now because they can't keep the footy in there, Spud, at all.
This has got all the characteristics of last week all over. It went out to Jolly but intercepted by Graham, who hand passed but side bottom, knocked it back, got to Pendlebury. This is Ben Johnson, kicked the high ball. It might be going near McAvoy and he dropped an absolute cream pie. It went out towards Baker but kicked off the ground down there by McCaffrey to the left half forward flank and running onto a Didac. He keeps it in, hand pass it inboard. He was looking over there for the sack, but here comes St Kilda. Goddard got it up to Snyder, took a bounce, ran to 50. He scored a wonderful interception. Came around and went out onto the wing, and he was out there looking for Lee Brown.
Lee Brown's going to be tackled by Schneider. Got it off to Harry O. Little ball forward to Goldsack. Inside 50 with a lovely ball to Beams.
Been good Goldsack on Sam Fisher since he's been on. I know Fisher's got a bit of the ball.
Beams a squaring one to Johnson, who takes it just inside 50 city end.
To Schneider coming off the ground, looks absolutely spent, Adam Schneider.
I'm sorry, I know I'm a broken record. Revolt leads up, gives Brown 3 metres. It's going to hit him on the chest, and he's sure the loose man drops into the hole, and now Collingwood having a shot at goal. You've got to manufacture one-on-ones in your forward half, St Kilda.
Ben Johnson from a fair way out has kicked a goal for Collingwood. 2-1-13 to no score. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard.
That's right, Gary. You're absolutely 100% correct. That hurts for a whole range of reasons because Mick Malthouse will not allow Nick Riewoldt the space. Ross Lyon, I'm sure he's getting the runner out, but it's Eddie, Milne, Schneider, McQualter. They have to look around. There's no use those guys getting up around the midfield to allow a Maxwell, a Heath Shaw or a Harry O'Brien to play 2-on-1 with Revolt.
Spud, the play that St Kilda had was the perfect play. Hard rebound off half-back, a push-up lead to Nick Revolt. Should have got it to him. Yes, Rex.
And the dock on Triple M.
Push-up lead to Revolt. Going to mark the footy on his chest, and Heath Shaw drops into the hole.
The ground, and here comes Swan. Swan kick to the right half forward flank. and went out there towards Leroy Brown. He's over the top of the football. Here comes Farron Ray. Oh, over the top. Beams might have got away with a free kick. Yes, he has. The umpire will bounce it.
And now look at Nick Revolt. Look at him. Look at him. He's calling to the bench, pointing at Heath Shaw, saying, for God's sake, someone make him accountable.
Yeah, but now Reid stands in front of him, so there's always a Collingwood player in front of Revolt.
McAvoy knocked it out, and here comes Thomas. Got it to Beams, and Ben Johnson, might have taken high there. Milne, was it? No, it's going to be a free kick.
Yeah, the Beams were actually right the first time.
And Beams has got it on the right half forward flank, kicks it inside 50 towards towards side bottom, but over the top Goddard took a wonderful defensive mark on the members' side half back flank.
Luke Ball's doing a great job on Hayes. Yet to touch the ball. Montagna's just having his first touch, Carlton draft.
And it's a good one too, out to Gwilt, who's got a lot of room to move. He can have 4 or 5 bounces. Gilbert on long. He's got to take this mark now, Sammy Gilbert, because he's got about 4 to 1 on out here. Wellingham just tapped it to himself very cleverly, and then into the centre for side bottom. Oh, look at the numbers inside 50. He goes sideways and finds Lee Brown. Lee Brown goes backwards by hand to Heath Shaw from downtown. Shaw's kick over the top. Dangerous ball touched through by Armitage. In fact, sorry, Dempster I should say. And that is a behind. So 2-2-14 Collingwood. St Kilda have not scored. Triple M Harvey Norman scored.
That's where Collingwood need to be patient. Lee Brown had to be aware that there was 3 St Kilda players on their own, their forward 50. Hold the ball up 70 metres out till you get some boys to empty it out and get some one-on-ones inside the forward 50.
Their sprint's been better though, the Maggies. They look much more dangerous.
Montana to Gwilt, and Gwilt outside 50, and Nathan Brown went up and took a wonderful mark. Was a wonderful mark, and the umpires played it, put his 2 hands in the air.
Well, Nick Revolt, again, he's competing against about 9 sets of arms every time he goes for mark.
Kick goes in towards half forward, but Zach Dawson went over the top. The Tune-man will be able to tell me the exact time last week. I reckon it's a carbon coffee, but back to you in a moment. As Dawson hand pass across, got it to Goddard, got it to Montana. Montana now down towards the wing position and going up there. Brown, he can't take it. Play on, said the umpire. The hand pass came out to O'Brien. He's in trouble. Hand pass the ball. He's slow. Got a hand pass back towards Lee Brown. Got one high. The umpire said play on. Nicky Dell to Hayes. Little chip. Marked by O'Brien.
No, they're defending beautifully, the Pies. They're just keeping their 6 defenders in the back half.
Harry O's kick across ground does not work. May just open up here for the Saints, although they run into each other. Stevie Baker fumble in the centre.
Looks rusty.
And now we've got a ball up or a holding the ball. It's going to go that way, Collingwood.
Yeah, there's the difference. That's a gilt-edged opportunity in the middle of the ground, and they weren't clean, St Kilda. The pressure of Collingwood got them right on the back foot.
And Revolt, they had a one-on-one. All he had to do was pick the ball up cleanly, and Nick Revolt had the 50 on his own.
Side bottom to Shaw. Shaw to McCaffer in the pocket. 70 from home.
Amazing.
Over the top, no. Kicks it straight into the arm of Nicky Dowell, and that's out of play.
Well, it's amazing. Carlton draft again. 11 inside 50s to 2. Collingwood favour.
It's a copybook last week, Spud. And you know what? I'd pull the trigger right now and
Gilbert
get Gilbert forward.
Got to get Gilbert forward.
2-2-14 Collingwood. St Kilda yet to score. 20 minutes into the grand final replay. Worked to the front by the Saints. Cozzy went to get it. Picked up then by Farron Ray, again in search of Revolt, and again he was double teamed. Fist into the middle. Lou Graham able to pick it up to Peake. Now it opens up. Wide to Gilbert. Over the top. Montagna or Schneider. A goal surely will come of this.
Revolt.
Over the top, Revolt. He sets it up for the champ in the square. Mark. No, he missed it.
Oh, he touched it. He smothered it.
By Shaw. And a behind the result. Unbelievable. 2-2-14 to 1 point St Kilda.
Unbelievable.
Oh, beautifully called, JB. Seriously, Heath Shaw. He's been everywhere. What's he had, Astua?
Carlton draft stats, 5 disposals.
He's just had another one. McAvoy took a mark.
Hands in the back, free kick, Dane Swan. And that's demoralising for Revolt, who worked his backside off for the first time and just denied it a metre out from goal. 13 marks in the forward half to Collingwood. 1 to St Kilda.
Well, you make these decisions under pressure, and that's part of the game, so he's got to forget about it. It went to Reid, who kicked a long ball out to Maxwell.
He's a beautiful kick, Reid.
Maxwell now, he dropped the mark, and on the left half-back flank in front of the Great Southern Stand, he can chip it up to the sack. Goldsack more than justifying the committee's decision to put him in. Over the top goes Maxwell.
He's
not accountable as our blokes have set up the back. Now he's going to get it going to Ball, and Ball goes in. Go on now, Spud.
Maxwell's been outstanding, Rex. Not only is he spoiling the ball, had 6 disposals, Carlton draft. He's having a huge impact in the game.
Ball's got a lead over there, but puts Beams under huge pressure. It went to Tooby, and Tooby off now. Got it off to the side
down.
bottom, and a long ball to Thomas. Thomas goes up, can't get it. Pendlebury, McCaffrey! Goal!
Rams down.
Major problem for St Kilda as McCaffrey kicks the third. And the Collingwood are 3-2-20. St Kilda one behind 1 point. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard.
Well, they were 19 points up halfway through the first quarter last week. They're 19 points up now. Jason Graham, Doc Smooth in the hands of the trainers in the marking contest. It was brave. I think he's going to be okay.
You got me, Gary? Yeah, he actually got up and he staggered off. He wanted to push away from them, so obviously he was a bit unbalanced and maybe a hit around the head. So Jason Graham at the moment is running off the ground with the medical staff, but he took a very heavy hit and a bit dazed, Gary.
Well, they've been fantastic, Collingwood. They have picked up where they left off in the first quarter last week and smashed St Kilda and denied them entries inside their forward 50.
Well, forward half stats, Gary. This is unbelievable. Carlton draft 34 to Collingwood. St Kilda 6.
They got 2 loose in the forward half now. Have Collingwood as this is a good tackle run from behind by Milne. Should have been holding the ball. Saints fans wanted it, didn't get it.
Yeah, Milne is pleading there with the umpires. That is the perfect tackle.
Righto, Blake is now the one that's gone forward, Spud. Much better than Kaczynski. More mobile, more aggressive.
Throwing up footy. Hayes grabbed when I thought he might not have had it, but the umpire says give it a me.
He's sure 7 possessions is an absolute pain in the St Kilda forward line. Again, he goes loose in defensive 50.
They're going to throw it up to try and clear some of these stoppages. Pendlebury came through. High ball forward. They fly from all directions.
Dawes.
Good mark taken by Dawes.
You'll have to hold up.
He goes back. They've got a long option. That's not a great kick. Schneider able to double back and take the mark. They need to hit the scoreboard, the Saints.
Yeah, and quickly, Jim.
Over the top, Lenny Hayes will receive the footy. Back to Gilbert and then thumped out wide to Eddie. Here comes Revolt, the kick from Eddie's a shocker. Revolt's pick up magnificent. Handball off to Snyder, back to Rui. Revolt, long inside 50, no one home. And Reid takes a simple mark and the handoff to Thomas.
A 3-down City at the moment inside St Kilda's forward 50.
Thomas now to Wellingham, centre wing, and here comes a long lead. And McCaffrey took it, and here comes Cloak. Cloak's up and he's got it.
Did he?
And nearly 50.
A little racer, there's the mark. He's going to an acute angle. Probably not a bad shot for Travis Cloak, Rex.
I agree with you, because if he misses this, he was on a big angle.
Exactly.
If he missed one in front, well picked up. Professor Frawley.
14-4 inside 50s. It's a trampoline, the St Kilda half-forward line. It goes in and comes out at a rate of knots. That is the major concern and worry.
The major concern for St Kilda is St Kilda and Collingwood people say he's got no chance of kicking this. He's 40 metres out, and it's across the face of goal. And the mark taken in the last line of defence by McAvoy.
One effective kick in the forward half, Jim, St Kilda. One effective kick 25 minutes into the grand final in their forward half.
The major concern and worry for me, Gary, is that they don't look like they've learned anything from last week.
It's a staggering
Kick
thing.
inside the middle. Peake is able to hold his ground, and here they come again at ground level. No, free kick.
Cosy gave away a cheap free kick.
So that's silly from Cozzy. He's trying to assert himself, but that wasn't the time. What he needs to do is win the ball and hold it in.
Long to Thomas. Nicky Dowell's got to get back on him. Got a hand in there cleverly. And then kept his feet. Tried to get it going forward for the Saints. The player there was McQualter. In the end, it comes back to McQualter. Handball now to Gilbert.
Here's Revolt on his own.
Here's Revolt. The kick's a shocker. It's going to bounce at the feet of the champ. And Goldsack's able to pick it up and just rebound with a thumping handball to Pendlebury.
Pendlebury now told by Maxwell, just make a selection, and he does to Tuvey. Tuvey in the centre of the ground on the favoured left boot and went thump out towards McCaffrey. Here comes Sam Fisher. McCaffrey took it wonderfully well. 80 metres out, left half forward flank, outer side of the ground, the City end. Collingwood streaming, lead by 19 points. And we are 26 minutes into the first term.
He'll have to hold up, because while he's holding it up, Rex, Goddard and Cozzy have gone deep.
Told to play on towards Dawes and Gwilt and Dawes. The boundary line wins. Over the boundary line, 1:24 to go till quarter time. St Kilda need to regroup. Collingwood 3-2-20. St Kilda one behind 1 point. Triple M Harvey Norman scoreboard.
The key is sideball and McCaffrey getting plenty of the ball on Fisher.
To the back, and Wellingham has run in and missed the lot. It bounces across the face And it'll be thrown in on the other side of the City end goals.
19 points is an absolute flattery of St Kilda.
It is, but side bottom McCaffer, they're the two guys. They're winning the ball. The flip side, McQualter and Eddie don't look like it for St Kilda.
It is a replay of what happened last week as this ball into the hands of side bottom and then out of those hands. And it's about 15 out. Wellingham brought it away. Handball back to Beams. Beams the snap on the City end goal. It's touched forward. Jones is taken trip surely and will get a free.
Well, less than a minute on the clock. They desperately need a goal, St Kilda, just for their belief going into quarter time.
No, they ain't going to get one in this time, Spud, because once they get anywhere near half forward, they're outnumbered so badly.
Farron Ray takes the mark out of side. They certainly can't afford to concede another one. 3-2, 20-1 behind. As
the disposal for the centre has been a disgrace as well.
Farron Ray honours the lead of Revolt, couldn't take the mark. At the back, Big McAvoy couldn't get a hand clear. Eventually he did. Well done by Gilbert, came bursting through. Gilbert over the top. Revolt running back, couldn't get the finger tipper. Now he's got some room to move. Measures it, kicks long across the face. Another behind. His second. 2 behinds now for the champ. And it's an 18-point lead to Collingwood with 6 seconds left, 5 seconds left. So that is going to be your quarter-time score. An unbelievable replay of what we saw this time last week.
Yeah, it is. And absolute full credit to them because they dominated in every single area. But at the end of the day, it's a 3-goal margin. And that would be giving St Kilda some heart. There were moments where Revolt running back with a flight. He should have had that one in the goal square, which was an unbelievable smother. And then again in the last moments, he's got the capacity to find space.
Collingwood fired up and firing. Quarter time in the grand final replay. It's 3-2-20 to 2 behinds. Goldsack, Johnson and McCaffer have got the goals. McCaffer's 7 possessions. Heathshaw 7 possessions. And what about that smother on Nick Revolt? Running into an open goal. His centred ball had come in from Schneider. It seemed a goal for the taking, and suddenly out of nowhere Heathshaw across his boot. Let's go down to
Collingwood lead the replayed grand final by 18 points at quarter time. Doc, first to you.
Yeah, both sides taking advantage of the bit of shade from this northern stand. Not overly hot, but obviously they're just trying to make sure they're not going to get dehydrated later on. Jason Graham went down the race at the quarter-time sign. He really hurt his shoulder in that hit at the 22-minute mark, James. So even though he's a bit dazed, his head cleared up pretty well. We saw in the shoulder, the doctor checking him at the moment. Collingwood, no troubles at all.
Well done, smooth for SPC. Man-beans, Gary and Spud.
Well, for me, Collingwood owned the quarter, owned it in every single aspect you like to go at, and yet only lead by 3 goals, which, having kept St Kilda without a goal is a great effort. Forward half, just have a listen to this. This is forward half disposals, 43-10 in favour of Collingwood. 19 marks to 1 in favour of Collingwood. 16 tackles to 2, clearances 7-1. The Saints, in a quarter of footy, 1 effective kick in the forward half of the ground, Spud.
Well, Ross Lyon needs to put Gilbert forward. It's purely and simply, we saw what happened in the second half.
He's going there now.
Oh, well, that's good. There's half a win mentally, because all of a sudden Maxwell now thinks, I have to play on this bloke. So, no doubt, watch for Goldsack now to come on the ground to release Maxwell again, because what will happen is Gilbert will go onto Maxwell, which make him defend. I like it now. Have a look. Revolt's thinking, I've got some space.
Well, it has to happen because Nick Revolt's just got absolutely crucified. 3 of the top 6 possession winners in the game for Collingwood are in their defence.
Not only that, the Carlton Dust has forward possessions. St Kilda had 1 effective kick in their forward half
Ready
of the
to
quarter
go
of footy.
In the second term. Umpire holds the ball aloft. Graham's back up for Saints fans. Good bounce to get us underway. Worked into the hands of Ball, who went without it. They pump it off the ground, do the pies to McCaffer. He gets taken in a tackle. Montagna, a little kick, didn't go far. Blake with his head over the footy. Peake overran it. Didak's been very, very quiet. Peake got it back. Held up in a tackle. Inching kick forward. It got behind Shaw.
Gilbert.
Handball. From Gilbert to Lenny Hayes. We'll go back to Gilbert Gary. He'll run inside 50 and miss badly.
I like it though.
Yeah, but Nick Maxwell's going, all right, I've got an opponent. Flow-on effect. Gee, if he had drilled it, it would have been a big psychological winner.
3 points now, the Saints. 3-2-20 Collingwood. Triple M Lockwood scoreboard.
O'Brien to himself, and he ran outside the square and kicked a long boy, McAvoy and Shaw. Shaw goes up. It's a free kick surely against Shaw.
All day
but
long.
The umpire said it went down towards the boundary line and play on. Baker got it on now to Lenny Hayes. It went to Pendlebury. Pendlebury hand passed it. Here comes, oh goodness me, Blair.
Dropping the ball,
He was
umpires.
dropping the ball. The umpire's just letting it go. And here's Spud Frawley on Triple M.
Well, he's had prior opportunity. Look, they umpired outstandingly well last week. But if you've got an opportunity and you get nailed, you've got to really reward the tackler.
Yeah, what was a free kick in the home and away is not now. There's no doubt about it. Hands in the back clearly by Shaw. Throw a blanket over 20 players. And in the second minute of the second quarter on the Triple M Lockwood scoreboard, it's Collingwood by 17 points.
He's sure now got an opponent. Pete goes to him. Maxwell's got Gilbert. You've got 5-on-5 in the forward line.
Didak on and Milne just doing some trash talking on the APSM replay screen. That was before it started. Here comes Thomas. Walks through with brilliance on the logo. Long inside 50. McCaffer and Blake go at it, and the hole is going to go Blake's way.
Good play there, Blake. McCaffer's very good in the first quarter. Carlton draft 7.
Handball off to Gwilt. He's got Fisher wide. Gets a little block. Not a good enough block. And Gwilt will go wide and hit Schneider out of side.
First time in the match, they looked a little bit composed, starting to just control the footy.
Short to Fisher at half-back. It's similar to last week, Gary. When it opened up, they somehow looked a little more settled, the Saints.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how a similar plot line it's following.
So if they get inside their 450, you've got Tuvey on Goddard. I like that matchup for St Kilda.
Gets it to Blake inside defensive 50. Got a long option on here, and it's not going to get to him. Wellingham had to stand in front of Dempster, and the football's over the line, right in front of the dock. It'll be thrown in. 3-2-20 Collingwood, 3 behind St Kilda. Triple M Lockwood scoreboard, 2.5 into the second term.
So the umpire of the boundary has got it and throws it back in. Jolly in front. Double knocked it down towards Wellingham, and here comes Milne. Hand passed it away, but it went to Hayes and it went to Montana. Montana now down towards Revolt, can't get it. Running onto it now is Dempster, got it to Revolt, brought it across his body, long spinning ball to Peake. Peake's got to come in, punched away Shaw. Here comes Milne. Milne now hand passed it across Gilbert. Gilbert's offline again and went behind the stick. It was a good build-up, but you got to finish him off. St Kilda 4 behind, 4 points. Collingwood 3-2-20. Triple M Lockwood scoreboard.
Pretty simple.
What a difference an opponent
It's amazing.
makes.
It's amazing. The game's changed on its head by one matchup. Gilbert going forward.
The wrong bloke ended up with the footy then. Nicky Dowell was the one they wanted. Beautiful Mark Thomas. And he's playing well again.
He needed to kick the goal, Jim.
He did.
Just because it drags Maxwell back then. Like, he will get a message soon, Maxwell. All right, you got an opponent.
Thomas short. Did he get it to Tuvey? Just.
It's got to be 50 then.
Thank you, Brendan. As to whether the ball got there. Tuvey off half-back. Kicks an absolute floating sack. Lands just inside the field of play. Wellingham a handball in hope. Numbers here with the Saints. Swan busted out of it. Through comes Didak to Swan. And Dempster, I should say, had a little piece of it. He wasn't clean. Now Lenny Hayes also peaked, but a high contact will go Collingwood's way. And it'll go to Wellingham on the logo. Got side bottom on long. Is it going to get to him? Fisher able to fold back and take a comfortable mark, and here's Gilbert.
Gilbert now calls for it and marks just on the defensive side of left wing, outer side of the ground. Kicks it down towards 50, Revolt. Nathan Brown behind, thumped it away over the boundary line and out of bounds. This time we go for SPC Man Beans to Dr. Peter Larkins.
Yeah, the Saints have been missing Robert Eddy on the bench since quarter time. He went downstairs by himself, but the doctor and physio followed him down a bit later. So off the ground Eddy at the moment. Milne's just come up saying he's sore in the hamstring too, boys, and Graham still hasn't cleared in the head.
Left half forward becomes wing, becomes ball, becomes beams, becomes
Didak.
Hand pass goes on there to Blair from doors. Long ball into Didak. Didak runs in. Here comes a bit of a go. Cloak to Didak for a goal. Magnificent transportation of the football. And Collingwood go to 4-2-26. St Kilda in trouble. I know they were last week, but 4 behind, 4 points. On the Lockwood scoreboard, Collingwood by 22.
Well, it comes down to ball use, so don't be critical of Gilbert. but you've got to kick the ball to grass to Nick Riewoldt. You've got to identify where Nathan Brown is. Now, he's playing behind Riewoldt. Kick the ball to grass, allow Riewoldt to run onto it. Don't bomb it on top of his head.
The ball use of Collingwood's been superior, Spade. I mean, they're on the fast break there, they hit their targets. Gilbert's had 7 kicks, 6 ineffective, which is a disaster, and he could have hit the scoreboard twice early. Instead of being 10 points behind, they're now staring down the barrel of an 18-point deficit.
High
22.
McAvoy, 22 points as Pendlebury brings it away. High inside 50. It's going to double back into the path of side bottom. Bouncing ball eluded him. Well done, Stevie Baker, to break it up. Fisher's good. Got it to Jones. Jones to Nicky Dowell, a fumble. Got to go back and try and win it again. Got absolutely poleaxed. Leroy Brown just kicked it straight up in the air. No one able to take the footy until Fisher somehow got it to Hayes. Hayes to Farron Ray, gets taken in a tackle. Thomas on the up, free kick.
Free kick to St Kilda against Lee Brown.
Yeah, it's over here. That's silly Lee Brown. He's trying to get into Sam Fisher. He's too strong. Sam Fisher. Again, Collingwood had the ball. This is twice in the game now where they've been undisciplined. It's okay to be aggressive, but be smart.
Thank God for the game, because 22-point margin, they wouldn't want to give up another one here.
So he's going to have to come back and kick it again. In fact, it might be going to Farron Ray. Is it the ball?
Well, the go where the ball was at that stage, JB. So the wrestle was on the half-forward flank, and the ball was where side bottom was manning the mark.
Yeah, so Farron Ray will take the kick for the Saints at half-back. Must kick the next goal in this game. Long ball to half-forward. McAvoy at front. Had a good piece of it and has been awarded the mark.
Good boy, he needs to impose himself. Don't just sit back and watch, young man. This is time now.
Hand off to Nicky Dowell, and he goes into the path of Riewoldt at the back. Schneider's able to pick it up, slid into ground. Got a little handball to Nick Riewoldt, whose kick forward's out in the full.
Well, that was the second mark in the forward half for St Kilda. That's why we thought it was a great mark from McAvoy. Second mark, and we're, 7-minute mark in the second quarter. They've taken 2 marks in the forward half of their ground, St Kilda.
That is credit to Collingwood's pressure and their defence as well.
Jolly kicked it outside 50. Here's a go for Blake and McAvoy. Right over the top, Lee Brown. Nicky Dell's got it. And the umpire to bounce. And eventually, if you're a left footer with no right foot, it'll come undone in a grand final.
You've got to start to take a few risks, the Saints, here in terms of ball movement too, Spud. They've got to get up and run.
Spoils Collingwood 12, St Kilda 1. That's the difference. I don't think let's not take nothing away from Reid and Brown and O'Brien and Maxwell Shaw. Bring the ball to the deck and then rebound.
8.5 minutes second term. Collingwood by 22 points. Here comes Swan. He's on the left half-back flank for Collingwood. He's grabbed beautifully by Jones. It went to Riewoldt to Snyder. Snyder now gives it across. Goddard came through. This is Ray. Ray got it back. Montagna can't get it. He did get it. He kicked a long poster.
No.
It hit the post.
Inside Tory.
Montagna, how did he get the kick to that? But it's a minor score. St Kilda 5 behind, 5 points. Collingwood Port 2-26, Triple M Lockwood scoreboard.
Forward pressure, the defensive tackles of Collingwood has been extraordinary.
He sure kicked to himself, and then a long buster out wide. Stevie Baker stands firm over there and turned it over nicely. It's going to come back into the face here of the Maggies. Oh, well done, Shaw. What a mighty grand final he's having. Coughed up the footy though, into the middle. There's numbers here with St Kilda. BJ Goddard, centre square, steps around, and then off a step, goes out wide. McAvoy's got 2 to beat, and Sidebottom takes the relieving mark for Collingwood.
Sidebottom now kicks it outside 50 and kicks a long ball down towards Beams and over the boundary line and out of bounds. And Dr. Peter Larkin's Triple M football today.
Yeah, Robert Eddie's reappeared with a guard made on his left ulnar bone, the forearm bone from the elbow to the wrist. I reckon he might have a crack in it, and they've made a splint while he's been off the ground, and he's got a heavily strapped up Rex.
The doc for SPC man being centre wing. This is Goddard. Got it across to Ray and got it back Nicky Dell. He changed his mind and went towards McQualter. McQualter marks it and hand pass back, and Cozzy dropped it. Turnover to Didak, who hand passed it out to 2V. 2V rocket hand pass intercepted by Nicky Dell to Cozzy. Cozzy's hand pass ended up by Beams and went to Wellingham. Here comes St Kilda. Sam Fisher's got it. Turns around and sees the player over there, Zach Dawson. He kicks it straight down to his throat.
Dawson's got Peake on. He gives it to Hayes, who goes to Peake with lots of room to move.
Gilbert on again.
Here is Gilbert. Over the top, he's going to take it just
Needs
outside
to nail
50.
this.
Has to nail it. Runs inside 50 and has missed again.
Oh, that's critical.
3 misses in the second term here for Sam Gilbert. All been gettable. 6 behind St Kilda. 4-2-26 Collingwood. Triple M Lockwood scoreboard.
Well, St Kilda are dominating the play. Inside 50, 6-2 St Kilda's favour. The issue is Collingwood's kicked a goal. St Kilda 4 points.
2V onto the centre wing. There's a player down over there and it's Blake. The ball came out there. Farron Ray kicked a long ball in towards goal. Clean bowled everyone. Look at O'Brien. Here comes Gilbert again. Gilbert going back and he's over the boundary line and out of bounds. Well, and in the right forward pocket with Collingwood leading by 20 points.
Tell you what, Rex, he's given Nick Maxwell a nice old touch-up to the point where Maxwell, well, he's run with Goddard at the moment.
I think we're going to get goal sack on the Gilbert.
Knocked out by Rebolt, close to the St Kilda goal. The umpire has a look. And he's going to now bounce the football in the right forward pocket. City End members side. Collingwood 4-2-26. St Kilda are 6 behind, 6 points. 11 and a half minutes in. Triple M Lockwood clock.
Been a smashing, Jim, yet they're only 20 points down.
Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
Kicked out of there by Ball. Dawson worked his way to the front but went to ground. Thomas picked it up. Tried to double back and find a player by hand. It's Didak. Walk past Dawson. Handball to Wellingham. Had a bit of a look. Picked up now by Dempster, and he got belted forward. It's going to be bounced.
There's a little change of momentum here, though. 11:50 on the clock in the second quarter. The ball movement not as precise from a Collingwood point of view. Winning more 50-50 footy, the Saints. They just got to hit the scoreboard.
Cozzy, oh no, pushed hard in the back. That's a free.
Now, this is Lee Brown again. He's been undisciplined today, Lee Brown. A lot of free kicks against Ash Stewart.
That's his third for Carlton draft.
Cozzy looking inboard, dangerous kick. He's got to hit it. He does to Blake. Blake's at the centre of the G. Over the top, Fisher! Mark just inside 50.
Oh, that was done from McCaffer. He come off Sam Fisher. Blair was on Blake. Blair had to man the mark. He'd love to have that 5 seconds again, Brett McCaffer.
How ironic, the defender that has to go, the two defenders, that Gilbert's gone forward and kicked 3 points, should have been 3 goals. And if their first goal in the grand final comes from their star centre-half back, sort of tells you where the game's at a bit.
If he kicks this, it's a 14-point game, which is extraordinary. To the City End, Sammy Fisher. High. Got very close to the man on the mark and has just snuck it in for a behind. 7 behinds now, St Kilda. Collingwood 4-2-26, Triple M Lockwood scoreboard.
Well, it's a carbon copy of the first quarter, really. St Kilda dominating the game. Collingwood to kick 1 goal straight. St Kilda 5 behinds, which is amazing.
He's got to have some composure. Got to hit a target up inside forward 50.
Collingwood by 19 points, and this is Heath Shaw, and he's kicked it out.
Yeah, with that kick.
Thomas has taken it. That was a beautiful kick. Thomas's little chip kick to 2V.
Well, what Collingwood need to do now, Rex, just take the tempo out of the game. Just hit up any free target.
So 2V hand passes
exactly
out. It's up to McCaffer. And here comes 2V again. Ball got a hand pass across there. Went back to Thomas. And Thomas kicked it out on the back on the full.
Well, that was Tooby's fault. You could tell the game Collingwood just need to hit up some targets. He elected to play on. Well, that's okay, but when you play on, you look up and you've got an outnumbered situation, you're just asking for trouble.
Perhaps the tide change is coming. When you get that swirl, Gary.
Bit of momentum change, but got to make it pay on the scoreboard.
You've got to hurt him on the board because that's where the game's decided. Gwilt kicked it to Rebolt, has taken a wonderful mark.
Goddard forward, deep on Maxwell.
So Rebolt comes around and kicks a long bomb down towards Goddard. Maxwell up behind. Goddard is there. Came out to Gilbert. He's got no right hand. He got a little kick to it.
Free kick to Goddard. Central umpires played it.
He was paid from the middle of the ground against Maxwell. Goddard the man. They get low.
Dangerous.
I don't know whether you can override an umpire who's 5 metres away and calls no free kick.
Let's have a look on the OPSM.
Well, he did make contact.
And the umpire was on the other side and didn't see it.
Well, this is a big move here.
So Goddard, the place he kicked a goal last week, and he's kicked another one.
I'll tell you what.
And the momentum is starting to go with St Kilda. The tide is starting to come back in. Collingwood remain 4-2-26, but 13 points behind them are St Kilda 1-7. Triple M Lockwood scoreboard.
And Nick Maxwell has been fantastic in the first quarter. Finally made to defend. Got carved up by Sam Gilbert 3 times. And then stands in a one-on-one contest, gives a free kick away. They kick their first goal.
The Carlton draft inside 50s, 9-2 in St Kilda's favour. Mick Malthouse had no choice but to put Jolly back out in the ground.
And Dane Swan for Carlton Draft, just with 4 disposals for the game, and Didak with 6.
Jones has been good on Dane Swan.
8 scoring shots to 6, and yet the Saints trail this one by 13 points. Back in the middle, Cozzy jumps in nice and high. To the back, and Leonard Hayes gets a handball off. Graham dispossessed. Inside 50 go the Magpies. Gwilt's a good footballer. Dropped this mark, however. Beams gets a little handball off to Swan, who went to ground. And a free kick played, no. Gwilt able to get it back to Jones, who had a fumble. Didak picked it up and has missed. Pumped it through for a behind. That would have hurt going the other way.
Well, it's a relief for Collingwood. They've got the ball where they want it in their forward half. This quarter, St Kilda have dominated the play up in their forward half.
14 points is the lead for Collingwood. The kick in from Goddard, beautiful, and hits Blake.
Had a little win here. If Maxwell follows Goddard, all of a sudden the defensive general is way out of his comfort zone.
St Kilda right half-back flank members side.
There
Go back to Goddard in the square. Goddard goes over the top to Gwilt, and Gwilt will go to Dempster. Dempster takes the mark. I don't know whether Gilbert went too quickly or not, but he now points to the player over there in Dempster to just get it moving. So Dempster kicks it down to Graham. Graham marks it on the centre wing. Now Fisher's on his own if he can see him. Now Graham goes towards the half-forward line, and here comes Revolt. He's up through the hands of Ball, but now we've got a hand pass going out towards Tuvey. Tuvey did it well, and he hand passed it off towards the boy Blair. Blair can't get it, but Ben Johnson did. One bounce on the centre wing, and he kicked a little bit down towards Maxwell.
Swan.
Maxwell marks it centre half forward, kicked a long ball down into the goal square. Sweats is a goal! No, it's not, sorry. He went the other side of the stick. Collingwood 4-4-28, St Kilda 1-7-13. Triple M Lockwood scoreboard.
Well, that's just good for Collingwood's belief now. I know they haven't kicked goals, but they're attacking. That's what they failed to do in the second half last week.
To McQualter, gets to him. Beautiful delivery from Goddard as always. McQualter sees something he likes in the centre square. Lenny Hayes has got it.
Just opening up the fraction a touch, Jimmy, and I reckon it's going to continue to open up.
So Nick Revolt hit up. It went sideways instead to Blake.
Just on the ground.
Blake, a little short one to Graham. Graham's got Del Santo on. He goes to him now. Nicky Dell just outside 50. Milne. Ball's going to get to him now. Tiprat went to mark it on his chest.
Where's
and
the hands?
coughed up. Now comes Snyder. Head over it. Release the footy. Eddie's got a job on his hands. Lenny Hayes is out there as well. Lots of players around the footy. In the end, Collingwood did brilliantly, and Thomas is going to bring it away. Out of side, just got to hold it up. Slide it over the top to a one-on-one. Players went to ground. Gee, hasn't Gwilt been good in this final series? Got it to Jones. Jones to Leonard Hayes, who walked into all sorts of traffic. Handball back to Gwilt's okay. Gwilt's got to go backwards by foot.
Good composure, Gwilt.
So Peake, centre half-back, punt road in. He's got a player out there, McAvoy, if he can get to it. He's now going to come out towards the half-back line and running onto a Jolly. Jolly, good man, broke the tackle, ran to 40, gave it a McCaffer goal. Wonderful play, Collingwood. Bad defence by St Kilda. And Collingwood go to 5-4-34. 2 goals, McCaffer. St Kilda 1-7-13. Triple M Lockwood scoreboard.
Well, that's what makes our game so great. It's an oval ball. The kick out there from Peake, it was a disgraceful kick.
I think it was a disgraceful kick.
It was.
In the end, first of all, the tip rat should have gone with his hands and marked the footy. Then the rebound was magnificent. The bounce was poor, but
shouldn't have got there, should
he? He had 2 options too. He had an earlier option as well. He should have taken the shorter option. And in the end, they made him pay like a good side does.
Well, they've had the last 3 scoring shots now, Collingwood. 2 behinds and that goal. It's amazing. Jolly. He is the barometer. Every time Lee Brown goes into the ruck, St Kilda gain ascendancy.
Goddard, Gwilt and Fisher are the top 3 ranked players on the ground.
Beautifully down to Pendlebury from Jolly. Around the body to half forward, it lands for side bottom.
Good player this kid.
He wheels around and inside 50 on the left. Hits Jolly.
Jolly again.
Great mark taken by Jolly. 40 out, not much angle, punt road end.
That's the difference. The half forward line, you're right, Gary, side bottom. He was terrific again last week. He's at 11 disposals. And him and McCaffer. McCaffer's had 10 disposals, side bottom 11. They're both playing half forward, which means the ball goes deep. And that is just smart running from Jolly. making McAvoy play as a defender.
Gee, composure of a young kid to first of all win the 50-50 contest, then swing onto the left foot. He's going at 90% efficiency, side bottom.
Big kick here for Darren Jolly.
Normally very good.
To the punt road end. On its way, big statement.
Didn't miss.
That's a big statement from Darren Jolly. And it's now starting to get worrying for fans of St Kilda. 6-4-40. The Saints are 1-7-13. Triple M Lockwood scoreboard.
Well, Jim Boy, we sat here last week. There's 6 minutes on the clock, and you didn't write them off. I'm not feeling anywhere near as confident right now because their rebound out of their back line, and once they get forward to centre, as this game wears on, the hard runners will continue to find space and can be able to continue to hit up some targets.
Yeah, we've been critical of Collingwood scoring outside the corridor. 10 scoring shots, all from the corridor. All from the corridor. There's no doubt they're making the St Kilda defenders pay because they're trying to double team and they're hitting up through the middle of the ground.
Statement time here for the Saints.
Collingwood taking advantage of the experience of last week as Pendlebury got a little toe poke.
Look at the runners.
It went to Wellingham and went to Swan and went on further. Now side bottom, hand pass to the sack. The sack came through, hand pass back to side bottom. It went out to Dempster. Dempster got a hand pass to Nicky Dell. On the right boot, comes out towards the half-back line. Wonderful play. Pendlebury knocked it on. Wellingham receives from 2B. Wellingham's long kicks out of play on the full. Left half forward flank. And 22 minutes in the second term. Collingwood 6-4-40. St Kilda 1 goal 7-13. Trail by 27 points.
7-zip out of the centre. Centre clearances 7-zip Collingwood's way.
Del Santo, a short one, just works.
And I think Luke Ball needs to take a bit of credit for that. He's won a couple himself, and Hayes is having a very quiet game around the clearances. He's got a few disposals, but not the Lenny Hayes type disposals.
Sammy Fisher's got to bring it back in to the outer side with a high one. Number of players parked under the footy. Peak at the back can run onto it. Tried to release a handball, broken up cleverly by Thomas. Good. Thomas to side bottom. Little inching ball to Blair. Blair back to Shaw. High inside 50. Cloak's been unsighted. One hand of the ball, couldn't take it. And the concession came from Dawson.
Well, it's just a mental win there for Collingwood. St Kilda conceding that behind.
6-5-41 now. Collingwood to 1-7-13 St Kilda. Del Santo handball back to Goddard. Goddard to Montagna. And Montagna will go with a short one to Lou Graham at half back. And he's able on the logo just to stand his ground. Got Revolt. Just couldn't get to him on the full. Nick's able to pick it up though. Handball back to Montagna. Back now to Nicky Dowell. His short one through the fingertips of Peak. Now to Goldsack. On the wing, back to the beautiful moving Pendlebury. His left foot ball missed its target, and Gwilt's able to double fist it over the line at half forward.
Carlton draft stats, the last 10 minutes, the inside 50s, 6-1 Collingwood's way.
Real issue for St Kilda. Nick Rewalt is half spent, he is.
I think he's run himself almost ragged.
Well, he's been playing on 2 or 3 all day, no wonder.
Left half forward flank members side for Collingwood. They lead at the moment by 28 points. They're going for the kill as Cossey's over the top, tackled by Lee Brown, and here it comes again, another bounce. Half forward for Collingwood, dominating this game thus far by 28 points.
Well, they've learnt from last week, Rex. When St Kilda came at them last week, they went inside their shells. They're still taking the game on. That's what you need to do.
The umpire thumps it into the beautiful turf here today. It went to Goddard. Hayes was taken about, and so too was Ray. Didn't make an attempt, but the umpire gave him the concession and will bounce this football again.
Maxwell needs to be careful here. He's at the stoppage situation. Third man up on Goddard. Goddard win one possession.
Cossey straight down to Jones, kicks it forward into the hands of Ball on the wing.
Well, Collingwood's tackling pressure at the moment. 45 tackles the Pies, only the 31 to St Kilda. That is a real concern.
Ball sideways to Johnson, and he hasn't got much to go to, so he's got to go back.
They'll look for Dawes long down the line.
It's called to go. Just dumps the left foot long one. Here is Dawes. Jolly in from the side as well. They both get spoiled. No mark paid. Dawes releases it. Wellingham steps through with great brilliance, but then coughed it up. Joey Montagna around the body. Here comes Goddard. Also Reid. Reid did well to Ball. Ball just with a high one forward. Stevie Baker in from the side will take the mark at half back for the Saints.
So Baker now They've got to do something. There's only 3 minutes to go till half-time and St Kilda look in real trouble. The umpire says
Stevie,
he's got to call play on, and he does now.
Not a good decision maker,
Runs the
Stevie.
50, kicks it to the members' wing position. Here comes McAvoy, thumped by Big Bad Leroy Brown, and Jolly moves onto it like a slow-melting glacier. He got it back towards Didac. This is Nicky Dell. Del Santo to McAvoy, back further to Zach Dawson, in a bit of trouble. Didac melts him and services him and doesn't get the required free kick. McAvoy back to Graham. This is tough. This is fighting to the end. This is what the grand final is all about.
It's the tackling pressure, Rex. What is it in the Carlton draft now? Tackles, please, Ash.
Yeah, 49-31 Collingwood's way, smashing him in the forward half of the ground.
Benny McAvoy off the pace in this big, hot contest.
going to get to you in a sec, Doc. From this clearance, Peake had his head over it. Unable to win the footy. Look at Thomas go. Kicked it straight though to Cozzy, and again he couldn't clear the area. Lenny Hayes was tough. Got rid of Didac, back to Dawson. Dawson an underground handball. Eddie came through without it. Dempster was taken high.
Hayes and Didac nearly on it. It's nearly on.
And we'll get down to Doc now.
Yeah, Ben Reid, right medial ligament of his knee, about 3 minutes ago, got heavily tackled by McAvoy after he disposed of it down the race. Reid off the ground for the Pies.
That's a big loss. He's been outstanding, Reid.
Kick the next goal. The Saints, they're not out of it, but you just can't see him kicking the next goal.
Yeah, and Hayes knows that. Hayes, his last commitment in the last couple of contests, he knows where the game's at.
This is where Ross Lyon needs to go tall. Reid off the ground with the knee. He needs to stack his forward line just before half-time. Pinch a goal.
Kaczynski and Jolly beautifully down to Ball, who had a fumble and then shoveled the handball forward. Here's Dawson's got to be careful. Got it off to Dempster, then to Gwilt by hand. Gwilt long down the line, 1-on-3 here, Revolt. Well done. Won it down. Nicky Dell got absolutely belted in the Leroy Brown tackle. All stepped around, kicked it out in the full. Well done, Revolt. Put pressure on Ball.
A couple of ex-teammates here, Ball and Revolt, just giving each other a little nudge. Sign of respect.
No love lost there between those two.
None at all.
Nicky Dowell just got to work an angle here. High ball forward. Revolt again parked under it.
Free kick,
Just away, but a free kick is going to go.
Gates Maxwell sat him on his backside off the footy.
Handball forward to Montagna,
Big
who
play.
runs inside 50. Long ball, marking player needed, and it's wearing a Collingwood jumper, Jolly. What a game he's playing.
Kaczynski had to get the football to the ground.
Either that, Gary, or put his knee straight into the back of Jolly to say, you guard me space, you're going to pay a price. You don't just go up and mark the ball. You've got to have game awareness.
Jolly already a premiership player. Experience coming out. Long ball outside 50. The sack goes up and follows it up. And here comes Eddie putting his life on the line. Beams. Hand passed it inside towards the Fenster. He's sure he was tackled over there. And goes by Schneider, who took the check side. Ball to where it's going to be Swan. And Swan just keeps himself under the football and takes a wonderful mark in the left back pocket on the members' side. Collingwood 6-5-41, St Kilda 1-7-13, Triple M Lockwood scoreboard.
Less than a minute to go, Rexy.
Chua, what was the margin at half-time last week?
24 points to the Pies.
What's the margin now?
Carlton draft 28.
Oh, here we go. Nicky Dowell, handball to BJ Goddard. Back now to Gwilt. Can they pinch a late one? Gwilt to half forward. They're racking up here.
Eddie.
And Eddie's taken it about 48 out. He can go over the top to the Snyder-nator. Oh, he's got it.
Big play here,
Big play. This is a big play.
The little left footer's 40 out on about a 45-degree angle, City end.
Well, this would bring it to 22 points, which rewinds the clock 24 hours to the minute.
No.
It has been such a scarily similar half of footy, dominated by Collingwood, but 6 goals on the board and haven't put away the opposition.
1 goal,
Schneider.
5 have kicked JB.
Schneider after the siren to bring the Saints back to 22 points. What a kick this is in a grand final. Left foot on the way. Missed. 1-8-14. 1-8-14 to 6-5-41. Who'd have believed the inaccuracy would come from St Kilda? Yeah, down to the Dr. Smooth.
Yeah, Benny Reid's still been off the ground for the last 5 minutes of that quarter. He got a really nasty twist of the knee, went downstairs. They're going to try and strap him up. Hasn't reappeared yet. They might be able to strap it up, Spud, and get him back on the ground. Hey, Spud, you remember when the leg gets caught and the players fall across the leg. So let's hope for Ben Reid it is just a medial, but unless you can see him, I think he's still off the ground. He may...
Not out there, a big Doc.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. So, as I said, he limped down, wasn't carried off the ground. It happened off the ground, Gary. He was across the line and Ben McAvoy slung him late and he just got his right foot caught between the legs of Ben McAvoy, got scissored in between.
No, go smooth.
Robert Eddy, I think, playing with a broken forearm, boys, for the Saints as well. He's got a big guard on that, so we've seen he'd probably get through with that. Sean Dempsey with a sore quad, and Milne with a sore hamstring, and Saints probably a little bit more knocked around, but Collingwood will be one down at least for the start of this second half.
Harden up with SPC man-beans there, Doc.
Jim Boy, we sat here last week and said someone's got to make a statement after half-time. Inside 25 seconds, Lenny Hayes put a smashing tackle on Dane Swan. Stopped him in his tracks and won the free kick. And what it said, sent a bit of a message to the rest of his teammates that they're back in the contest. Someone needs to make a statement. They need to hit the scoreboard early, St Kilda.
Well, there's no Ben Reid, which means Ross Lyon will either put McAvoy or Cozzy deep with Gilbert. And I think that's smart.
McAvoy's in the ruck.
Yeah, well, I like that because that's what happened last week. And I don't mind McAvoy now because we'll have a player, whether it's Maxwell or Harry O'Brien, playing as full back. Just keep McAvoy on the goal square. It'll do two things. Make the defender really nervous because Reid's not there, and it'll stop the run from a Harry O'Brien or a Maxwell.
Yeah, and go long to McAvoy in that goal
Going to be
square.
Maxwell.
So that suits because that takes Maxwell behind Brown and Revolt. Now, he's been the number one drop-off player along with Heath Shaw. So go long. Be prepared to go long to McAvoy in the square.
I know it sounds strange, but now you might flip Gilbert down back because Maxwell, you don't have to worry about Maxwell now.
I reckon he created some opportunities, so leave him there for the moment.
Well, we've heard from Chua only once in history as a team come back from a larger deficit than this.
Is that right?
And that was the Blues in that famous grand final, of course. Here we go to start the second half. Little Razor Ray, a very ordinary bounce. Cozzy out of the middle, reels it in. And then inside 50 with an end-on-ender. And Revolt's taken it. Handball off to Snyder. Early statement. St Kilda hits the post. Hits the post. 1-9-15 to 6-5-41.
Perfect start. Cozzy gets the ball. Revolt one-on-one and just unlucky.
Heath Shaw, one bounce, two bounces outside 50, looking for Thomas, thumped away by Snyder.
Deliberate.
And the umpire said, ball, you can have a free kick.
Yeah,
it was deliberate.
It certainly was, Rex. His only intention was to hit it over the line. Well picked up.
So ball on the right half back flank. In front of Dr. Peter Larkins, kicks a long ball down to the wing to Goddard. Goddard goes up, can't take it at the back. Dempster can't control the ball. Blair, good pressure over the top. Pendlebury missed it. Now it's Dempster, got it back. Jones. Oh, Swan went thump. And Collingwood are committed. In the first moment of the third term, they lead 6-5-41. St Kilda 1-9-15. The ball will be bounced centre wing members' side.
He looks a bit sore there, Clinton Jones. Swan would love that. He's only had the 7 disposals. Carlton draft.
Free kick going to Collingwood.
Well, it was just silly against Cozzy to Jolly.
Handball off to Didak from Jolly. Didak runs around. Long inside 50. Goddard to go back. Oh, he didn't impact it at all. Bashed into was Leroy Brown. It's about 30 out. Lee Brown went back and got it. Kicked it off his shin. Numbers here with Collingwood. Pendlebury wide. Ball stands up. Left foot high ball doesn't travel the journey. Smashed out of everyone's hands. To ground, inched forward. Here comes Nicky Dowell. Also Thomas, and he's over. Thrown in deep city end.
St Kilda need to kick the first goal just for their belief.
Oh, that Snyder posted. Spud. What about the ramifications?
St Kilda on the ropes. Collingwood looking for the knockout. Here comes Milne.
Gone.
That's holding the ball umpire.
2 steps. One more step and it would have been prior.
One more step and it would have been a free, yeah, we know that. If I'd have had hair, I'd have been a hairdresser. The umpire put the football down, knocked out by Jolly, coming through Thomas. The ball in the area. It's kicked out of the pack towards Goddard. Goddard races on and nearly over the boundary. He dragged it out. But in a grand final. Sit down, you idiots. They're not going to give that. It's Collingwood by 26 points.
What about the misses of Gilbert and Schneider? Quite extraordinary. Jolly worked it down. Free kick ball not paid. Play on, they're letting it roll.
It was against Lenny Hayes. It's well called, JB.
Jeepers.
Well, you got to have a look at it in context too, Jim. And that Schneider goal plants a seed of hope and doubt at the same time.
Yep. And now it's down the other end and it's buried inside forward 50 for the Pies. Jolly has played an enormous game of football. No one able to win the ball. Picked up in the end by Jones. It was smothered down to Goddard. Handball off to Kazitsky, and then Schneider went to ground. Picked up by Ball, stepped through, gave it to Thomas. Impossible angle, and Thomas has kicked it across the face. And just behind the result, 19-15 to 6-6-42 on the Triple M Penrite All scoreboard.
Luke Ball playing some sort of game here against his old club, against Lenny Hayes. He's really been quite magnificent.
Sam Fisher got it back to Gowilt. Gowilt in the goal square, brought it out to the left back pocket, Dempster. Now Collingwood putting pressure. Unbelievable pressure on St Kilda to score.
Just can't get it out of there at the moment, St Kilda. We've got to go long to a contest at some stage.
Dempster does that to Cozzy. Coming back is Sam Fisher. Pendlebury on 50. Kicked a long ball down towards Dawes. Coming over the top, Dempster. It came out Lenny Hayes. He was grabbed, gave it over to Dawson. And Dawes has kicked the
goal! Off the boot!
Dawes has kicked the goal!
Pressure.
This is big, big time for Collingwood. St Kilda slump. Collingwood give an impression that they're saying we're not going to do what we did last week. And go to 7-6-48. St Kilda 1-9-15. Triple M Penrite All scoreboard.
All about forward line pressure. Lenny Hayes just hung on to by Del Sano. Then Zach Dawson panicked with McCaffrey hanging off the back of him. And Dawes out of mid-air.
As Stuart talked about it, give us those forward half tackles again, Ash. Unbelievable. Forward pressure, what are they?
Spud 41-11 Collingwood's way.
There's the game. St Kilda are unable to get the ball out. But you cannot take any away from Collingwood because they have just been insatiable.
It's like a spider web down there,
in their appetite to tackle and harass.
Very tough to see the Saints coming back from here. Jolly worked it to ground. Straight forward, Wellingham. Blair held to him and will have another bounce in the centre.
And just to explain, Collingwood have been the best team all year from scoring from turnovers today. Collingwood, 9 of their 13 scoring shots from turnovers. That's tackling pressure.
No one able to get it out of there. Wellingham was taken in a tackle and released the footy. They get it going forward though, the Magpies, and now they start this swarming running. Comes to Goldsack outside 50. Handball to side bottom. Standing start ball from that player. 2-on-1. No one able to take the mark from Cloak. And it's able to be shoveled through for a behind. It's all heading one direction. 7-7-49 Collingwood. 1-9-15 St Kilda. Triple M Penrite All scoreboard.
They're irrepressible. Yeah. At the moment, it's a bit of a belting spud.
Yeah,
we're a bit loath to say it, but everywhere else it's a smashing. They've kicked one goal, St Kilda.
Well, the clearance is 21-12.
Goddard's kick went out and O'Brien went up and it went to Snyder, and Snyder hand pass up to Sam Fisher. Fisher ran onto the left centre wing on Member's side down towards Swan. And now it's Nathan Brown. Nathan Brown takes a mark in front of Revolt.
I saw the work off the ball, Rex. He was terrific, Brown. He was the bumper bar. Revolt was trying to turn him. He was just outstanding, Nathan Brown.
Nathan Brown off to Benny Johnson on his favoured left boot, and he takes a bounce. He's got a bit of a lead down there, and it comes from Wellingham. Going over the top, Cozzy can't take it. It came out to Graham, and Graham just careered a football towards half-board, and Ben Johnson banged it back from whence it came, and inside 50. Here comes Swan. Here comes a bit of a play of Dawes. Dawes knocked it on into the hands of Dempster, went to Goddard, got off Gilbert in trouble. Paul says the crowd beams. Kicked a long ball down McCaffrey. McCaffrey's up, can't take it. Quilt's under pressure. Big stuff.
Look at the
Collingwood
tackling.
Inspired. They will not let this one go. And the umpire will bounce it at centre half forward.
Well, it's amazing now, the Carlton draft, 62 tackles to 44. That tells a story. Gee, McCaffrey on the APSM replay. Could have nearly played a free there.
Bounce inside forward 50 for the irrepressible Magpies. Third up, Hayes. Through came Wellingham. There it is. It's going to bust right open this one. 8-7-55 Collingwood. 1-9-15 St Kilda. On the Triple M Penrite All scoreboard.
Oh, Nathan Brown, look at the Collingwood players, and fair enough too, because he marked the ball. It wasn't the mark, it was just the sense, the game sense of Rewalt was up the ground. he went to turn to double Nathan Brown back, and he said, not here. Put his up forearm out, Rewalt ran into it, and then he took the mark, which ended up giving Collingwood now an amazing lead.
Yeah, another goal from a stoppage too, Spud. Their clearance work, they've had the pressure to keep it in there, but if they get a stoppage, you just see there, actually it was Lenny Hayes, the third man up, he just put it down their throat.
And that's fifth Gardner, no Gardner. Yeah. What it does, guys, it gives them one less on the ground, especially in the forward half.
Well, what does St Kilda do now? They are bleeding uncontrollably, and here comes Collingwood against Swan. Took a bounce, ran to 50, hand pass over the top towards side bottom. He got in and out of trouble. Here's Baker. He's in trouble. The hand pass came out there from Wellingham and it went to Dawes, and Goddard was tied up. Snyder gave it a Dell. It went off to Jolly, whose hand pass went into the Sack's hands, and the umpire will bounce it again.
No time or space. Yep. Whether it be Goddard, whether it be McAvoy, it doesn't matter. They are getting swarmed upon by a black and white army who, this is their destiny here.
9 minutes into the third term, Gary, they've kicked just one goal, St Kilda. Out wide in front of Harry O and Peake. Harry O picked it up, Peake took him, that's a free kick all day long.
Yeah, well done Harry O, bro. He handball down, Peake had to be aware that was what's going to happen.
And he goes, Harry O with a bounce. And then inside 50, he sets it up. Cloak to get involved in this marking contest. Swan at ground level, there's another one.
Well done,
it is raining goals at the city end. Collingwood marching to their first grand final win since 1990.
Yeah, and if you're going to win a grand final, Jim, this is the way you want to win it. You want to put it away in the third quarter so you can sit back for the 30 minutes after it and enjoy it. And they give every indication, well, 46 points a margin right now. It is all over, but they could just make this real ugly.
Well, side bottom again. I tell you what, you talk about young players. He was the guy that flew for that mark. He didn't mark the ball. It spilled to the ground. Swan, how's he lifted in this quarter?
Has not played a bad final, still side bottom.
Dr. Peter Larkins, Triple M football.
It's just going to get better for the Pies. Ben Reid, after 40 minutes of treatment, has made his way to the interchange bench. He's come out from the rooms at 10 minutes into the third quarter, and I reckon he'll be going back on the ground after that injury in the second quarter, boys.
3 unanswered goals takes him to 46 points in front. The Carringbush are coming and coming fast, and the umpire will bounce the ball again in the centre.
Gilbert's gone back. He's gone back into defence.
Just inside 50s this quarter, a 7-1 Collingwood's way and twice as many contested ball.
Knocked out by Jolly, went through the hands there but went to Montagna. He kicked it inside 50. Here comes Cozzy, can't get it but thumped away by Heath Shaw, making a huge statement for a famous Collingwood name. Over the boundary line and out of bounds, left half back pocket for Collingwood. Half back flank rather, and the black and white army are going 8 droppings here at the MCG.
Well, Cozzy just could not catch a goal at the moment. Big Cozzy in the forward half.
Thrown in footy, came to the back. Jones able to pick it up. Handball off to Fisher. Fisher slicing through half forward. No one home. Just got to sit it over the top. Milne there with Harry O. And Cozzy got hold of Harry O too high. Free kick.
The ball hits the ground and he's virtually you're one short because he's got no recovery skills. And he's not marking it. You've got to wonder about his future, because
it's seriously like a trampoline, guys. And I don't say that derogatory. You're right. It's rebound.
Short to Thomas. It's starting to become a Magpie celebration, this one. 61-15. Thomas down the line. Lee Brown in front. Has it fisted out of his hands. Gilbert went without it. Wellingham stepped around cleverly. Now it's out.
Why we see some massive blowouts in grand finals, Jim, is because once it's beyond you, it doesn't matter how resilient you are, the spirit sucks out, and the team who are in front just drive the thing home. This could get out to 80.
Well, especially when you got a replayed situation. So you got sore boys anyway. Eddie took Swan. Ball came to ground. Johnson was met in a strong tackle. This is all happening on the wing. And no one's able to get it out of there. 1 goal to the 12.5-minute mark of the third term, St Kilda. And Swanee's going to end up with a free kick.
Just on Swan, JB, 800 disposals this year. First time ever by a player in the history of our game as someone had 800 disposals in a season.
And that's against Lenny Hayes too, which is another bad sign that she's just about shot.
Swan off to Maxwell. Dawson, I thought, might have given away a free. Nothing doing. Here comes Didak. down the wing, tried to keep it in, couldn't in the end.
Well,
And it's out just inside forward 50 City end.
That's team play. To see Travis Cloak open up a path for Didak, that is great play from Travis Cloak.
Nick Revolt, Spud, hasn't hit the scoreboard at all. Now, I know you, the vote givers for the Norm Smith medal, you've got to start thinking about something like that.
He's been
Knocked out by Lee
outstanding,
Brown.
mate.
Went to Thomas and went to Swan, who kicked it out on the full. And it's going to be Gwilt to take the resultant free kick in the left back pocket. Collingwood are blowing St Kilda to the Scheisenhausen. St Kilda have scored a point, and Collingwood have scored 3 goals, 2 to take it to a 46-point margin.
13 minutes into the third quarter, 1 goal to St Kilda.
A long ball outside 50, Nathan Brown knocked it away. It went over the top now to Didak, who took it over the boundary line. And in the 1990 grand final, they had question, didn't they? Who kicked 5 goals in the 1990 grand final?
Essendon.
It might be a new crown coming in today for St Kilda.
What about Luke Ball on his old mate? 17 disposals ball. Hayes has had 11. Not a clearance, Lenny Hayes. Not a clearance.
Got a blue out the back here that Razor Ray has picked the free kick out to St Kilda as they box on.
Oh, this is the last thing Collingwood need.
Well, they've got a free kick, and it's going to go to Beams, I think.
Here they go. McAvoy's on.
Mate, you're going that way, have a look.
Graham will kick a goal here.
Haven't we got... That's going to play on, so Graham's able to walk through. Gives the handball off. Nick Revolt has got Cozzy on and kicks to him about 20 out, not 30 out, not much angle. I thought they'd given away a free at the other end. Clearly not.
The free kick to St Kilda against Beams and Fisher,
must
it
have
was.
been, yeah. Okay, so here's Cozzy at the punt road end. 14 and a half. By the time he kicks, it'll be nearly the 15-minute mark of the third term for the Saints to get their second goal of the game. And that looks like it's straight. It is 2-9-21 to 9-7-61. Triple M Penrite all scoreboard.
Getting back to Luke Ball, Lenny Hayes is ranked second in the competition for clearances. He was the Norm Smith medalist last week, the best player on the ground. Luke Ball has been outstanding himself. He's had the 4 clearances, 17 disposals.
And Lenny Hayes yet to have a clearance, but is that still the
He just got one
just
then.
clearance.
Just then. 2.5
It is a great
quarters
effort.
of footy.
And what vindication for Luke Ball, because as we've said all along, maintained his class and dignity when he left. Got double team back on Revolt again. He just must look up to the box and go, what in God's name have I done to deserve this?
He'll get reported in a minute, and I don't blame him because he's looking around. He's got Brown playing an outstanding game goal side, and he's always got Shaw, Maxwell or Harry O'Brien guarding the space.
The Saints trail by 40 points. They need another one, and they need it quick. And McAvoy got it out towards Hayes. Down to the centre ball, kicked it inside 50 and running onto it, Zach Dawson. Hand pass to Clinton Jones and got it to Blake. Beautiful interception by Didak. And Didak has kicked a long goal. That is
goal of the
one
match.
of the great goals.
What a goal.
Of ever in a grand final to get one back. And Didak went thump for his second. And Collingwood 10-7-67, blowing St Kilda away. They're 2-9-21. And for SBC Man Beans, Doc on Triple M.
Rex, the Saints will be without Sam Fisher for the rest of the game. Right hamstring gone, so I don't think it's going to make a difference to the results, Spud. But Fisher off a couple of minutes ago down the race, looks in trouble.
I'll tell you what, Alan Didak, you talk about pressure again. St Kilda had the ball, he smothered it. Then he's kicked the goal of the grand final on his non-preferred, running on his non-preferred.
And loved it, looked up the scoreboard, watched it 4 times.
But the smother, I think that's what the runner went out. It won't be the goal, the smother. You kept the ball in, son.
Got his second
Jolly's having a
of the
field day
game.
there.
Here's Thomas out wide on the wing. Able to have a bounce and stream forward. Inside 50 for Dawes. The kick was a little too fierce for him. Goldsack at the back with Blake. And Blake was able to win it. Deliver it to Peake on the other side. And Peake's able to run away. Got to find a long target. No one able to impact the situation. Very good mark taken by Shaw, not paid. Should have been.
Had to be for effort as well.
Tell you what we're getting, Jim, as we've got a ball up on the half-forward flank for St Kilda. We're getting a look at some players under the absolute heat that may not be at the mark. And Clinton Peake struggled for the second week in a row, I reckon.
Nicky Dowell able to spin out of a tackle, Dale Sando, and kick it to half-forward. No one home. And
Had
Johnson
to be a free kick to Brown.
is able to wheel away, but Brown will end up with the ball.
We've had an extra all day, Collingwood, Gaz.
Brett Peake and his boys. Clinton Peake was an average Victorian cricketer.
But how well, Gary, has the Collingwood defence stayed at home?
They've been magnificent, and they've not allowed the trump card for St Kilda to get off the leash in any way, shape or form.
Geelong won 2 flags by the defenders staying at home. If you're half forward, you go up around the wing, don't worry about it. We'll defend the goals. They've only kicked 2 goals, St Kilda.
Pendlebury off the left half-back flank on towards the centre wing, and here comes Thomas. Hand
He's been
pass to
good.
himself. He went on the left half forward, but he kicked it into the arms of Gilbert, who was off. He's in trouble. He hand passed it out towards Graham. Graham's in
Look at the
trouble.
tackling.
He gave it a Revolt. Revolt tackled. Gang
Ducked into
tackled
it.
by Tooby and by Lee Brown. And the umpire's just standing there like a stale bottle.
That's the game there. That's the game, Rex. The tackling, St Kilda get the ball. Collingwood's ability to hold it in. Their Jolly's able to get to work now. In the ruck, he's been dominant, Jolly.
Collingwood by 46 points, approaching three-quarter time, and Jolly good fellow's going to have a jolly good night. It went out to Del Santo. He was all wrapped up, and Collingwood will not let this one slip.
Carlton draft stats, tackles in the forward half of the ground now, 52-13 Collingwood's way, and Smothers in the forward half, 8-0 Collingwood's way.
Revolt up on the ball at the moment.
Bounce inside the Pies forward 50. Wide to Pendlebury. Beautiful finisher on the left.
He's been
And
unbelievable.
this one's going to miss. Out on the full, in fact, City end. 10-7-67 Collingwood, 2-9-21 St Kilda. Their inability to hit the scoreboard, Gary, was always a concern, but no one saw it unfolding like this.
No, it's unbelievable. They had a little window of opportunity that they just failed to take advantage of.
Eddie got it to Revolt. Revolt kicks it to where he should be. No one there. Bashed away. BJ Goddard will go over the top, try and allow Joey Montagna to run onto it. Johnson with him. Montagna in the pocket, punt road end. Oh, Johnson, what a beautiful one-on-one ball. Back to Brown. Back to Johnson, who smashed into Eddie. No one able to get away with the footy. Peake in the end got a handball inboard. Trying to find an available player. Hayes in the end.
Good goal.
Outside of the boot, kicks a goal. Well done, Lenny Hayes. 3-9-27 St Kilda, 10-7-67 Collingwood, Triple M, Penrite all scoreboard.
Well, Lee Montagna to me is disappointing. We've got Revolt coming to the interchange bench, being accompanied by the physio, so the doctor, so Doc Smooth to be all over that, but Montagna disappointing for mine. Hasn't had enough of the footy, lost one-on-one battles, lost 50-50 contests, just 10 possessions from one of your elite midfielders, not good enough.
Also, Milne, he's had some very, very ordinary finals, Stephen Milne. We talk about Leon Davis. Stephen Milne is kickless. He's had 2 handballs, have gone straight to Collingwood for the game.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And we've got to call as we see it. We give it to Leon Davis.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Milne,
Yep.
that record's worse.
It's back to 40 points, and McAvoy got the knockout. But here comes Collingwood again. Tooby, Rock of Gibraltar, and it came out. Fresh air shot, Nicky Dell running onto it. Swan, Peake overran the ball, picked up by Ball.
Tough.
Got it off Wellingham, got it off Swan, and here comes Cloak. Cloak's
Oh,
marked
look,
it
ball.
as we go down to the dock on Triple M football.
Yeah, first time Nick Rewalt has come off the ground, played 100% of the first half, but straight on the phone, no medical concern when he came off with the physio, so just a bit of a chat, having a rest, Nick. First time he played 97% last week's game too, Rex.
11-1 centre clearances, and I tell you, the man that's directing all of the traffic out there and winning his own footy and beating Lenny Hayes.
Not the ex and Kilda boy, guys.
There's no pressure on Cloak. He's side leads by 40. He's going to be a premiership player, and he's kicked a long point, and it doesn't matter. Collingwood at 10-8-68. St Kilda 3-9-27.
Good build-up.
Triple M Penrite all scoreboard.
No, it was, Rexy. I thought it was home with you.
Yeah,
This is where Collingwood's just dominated. The zone's been outstanding as well.
that bloke I was talking about in the middle,
Who was it?
Luke Ball.
Goddard to himself, and then a thumping long ball in the middle. Good mark, McAvoy in from the side.
He can do that. There's no doubt about that. He can mark it all right, Jimmy, but the rest of it's all happened a bit quickly for him.
Handball to Nicky Dowell. He goes out wide. McQualter will take this. The runner Gilbert inboard. Wants to give it off to him. Eventually hangs onto it.
Well done, Thomas Manning, the marky man. Both players there.
Back to Del Santo. Had it belted out of his hands. Here's
He's
Lenny
hurt.
Hayes again.
Goal sack.
Lenny Hayes, a sideways one to Stevie Baker, who just has not been clean. Inside 50. Oh, McAvoy waited an eternity for the pill to arrive. Ball on ground at centre half forward. Hayes to Schneider. Schneider to Goddard. Outside 50. Corralled by Blair. Around the body. Milne's got a couple of beat in the air. Peak at the back. Can he control it to Milne? No. Montagna head over it. Now they've got the stoppage they wanted, the Pies. It'll be bounced deep, punt road end.
What about their presence in the forward line? Milne, Eddie, McQualter, they're their guns in the forward 50.
So St Kilda inside 50, they're trying to get it and kicked by Nicky Del Santo. It went out to Thomas, the boy from Druin. Has he got a premiership medallion? He kicks it outside 50. It's going to go down towards Farron Ray. Runs to 50, comes inside to Mill. Beautiful interception, Thomas. Running onto it as McCaffer. Brings it off the half-back line onto the centre wing. This is Zach Dawson.
Bang.
This is Dawes. Dawes did wonderfully well. He pass over the top. Pendlebury.
Side bottom.
He kicks it a side bottom. Side bottom marks it. 40 metres out, directly in front of the City end goal.
Well, there's your passage of play that if you've got your news services tonight, that's the one you show there. You get the desperation from Thomas to fling himself at it. You got the shared footy. You got the quick hands. You got the precise delivery. The contest at Dawes was magnificent.
Really the three best players on the ground. Thomas, Pendlebury, throw-in ball, and this boy's side bottom. Gee, what a final series he's had. 17 disposals.
Two brothers played in the Premiership of the Golden Valley League. Shep United last Sunday. This kid just says, oh, I'll go one up here.
35 metres out, and he's kicked a goal.
Look at this.
He's kicked a goal, side bottom. Collingwood careering away with a 2010 replay. Collingwood 11-8-74. St Kilda gone. They're 3-9-27. Penrite all scoreboard Triple M today.
Tell you what, Spud, that bloke that's just come to the Lions played a reasonable game too. Big Darren Jolly.
JB, you talk about ruckman in big games in grand finals. 29 hit-outs. And have a look at the clearances, 28-18. But more importantly, centre clearances 11-1. You get an opportunity to get a one-on-one inside your forward 50. The best way to do that is win a centre clearance.
Still side bottom, 18 possessions, going at 92% efficiency, if you don't mind.
I'm pretty sure he kicked 10 goals here in a TAC Cup grand final.
Is that Eddie had, I think?
Eddie had,
down
sorry.
to Hayes.
Right.
Hayes tried a stiff arm. That's holding the ball.
They're just going to go nuts in the last quarter.
It should be 50 because Jones ran across the mark, but it wasn't. Off to Pendlebury. And he's able to duck around. Hangs onto the footy and then distributes it back to Reid. Reid's kick to McCaffer, works on the wing. Just a celebration now for the Magpies. Goes to Dawes, unable to complete the mark. Schneider picks it up on the wing. Gets ragdolled, tried to get it back to Eddie. McCaffer came in. Pendlebury on the right. High ball forward. Goddard, a big fly.
Free kick to Dawes, I think, JB. He's just growing stature now.
Well, what are we at? We're at 47. They will go berserk in the last quarter, Jim, because as tired and as buggered as St Kilda are, the euphoria,
the adrenaline,
and the adrenaline for Collingwood, they'll run nuts. They'll go absolutely nuts.
McBurney's on the ground again too.
20 years since they've held the silverware aloft, and that's going to be their second in about 60 years, so they will go nuts. Kicks to the hot spot. Good mark taken by Cozzy. Third up. The celebration will be heard around this great nation. Enormous footy club, Collingwood. Cozzy, long ball. Eddie at the back. Deprived of a run of it by Maxwell. Down to McCaffer. McCaffer went to Didak. Just the one hand in there. Peake's able to pick it up. Gets the handball back to Nicky Dowell. And he will go with a low one to Eddie.
Brave of Eddie to be playing with what the doc tells us is a suspected broken arm, but gee, he's some way off it, I reckon.
Long ball to the left half forward flank and Revolt can't fire a shot. Got it now to Montagna.
Bang!
Montagna tackled by O'Brien. Turnover to Nathan Brown. Got it to underground with a pass to Heath Shaw. Heath Shaw now's got side bottom if he wants him, and side bottom marks it left half back flank out of side.
That's amazing. You talk about the premiership quarter, 13 inside 50 to 7 to Collingwood. 5 goals, 3, 21. But again, the tackling pressure has just been all the Pies.
That was a 120-metre lead then from Dane Swan.
And Swan took the mark and got it back to Heath Shaw. And both those players for Carlton Draft, two-man.
Carlton Draft stats, he's had 8 tackles, Swan, and along with 14 disposals.
How many tackles Pendlebury, Ash?
He's had 11 for Carlton Draft.
And
It went back and Beams got it to Shaw. Go on.
now that's what they pride themselves on, Rex. Not only winning the ball, but the tackling pressure again today is the mark of Mick Malthouse, the coach.
He Shaw went outside 50, looking for lethal Lee Brown. He's up over the top and he breaks a tackle. Hand pass to Dane Swan, who got it back now to Benny Johnson. Johnson's low trajectory kick went onto the wing position. This is Ball, going to be a premiership player. And over the boundary line and out of bounds centre wing. The shadows starting to come over the ground, and that's St Kilda's death call as we go to the dock for SPC Manbeans.
Yes. Pies have hit 100 interchanges for the game so far, Rex. 81 to the Saints. Goldsack back up from the medical room, ready to go. Sam Fisher still wants to get back on the ground with that sore hamstring, but they're just discussing his fate.
2.5 left in this third term. 74 to 27. There will be some Saints fans walking the aisles, I reckon, at three-quarter time. Magpies fans going nowhere. Throw in. Worked forward by the Magpies to half forward. Cloak taken the ground, but released it to Pendlebury. Pendlebury inside 50. It's going to bounce in front of Jolly and Gwilt and be thrown in.
Just Lee Montagna usually averages 29 disposals a game. Today, just the 10 possessions.
Hasn't looked like it. Hasn't had the passion to run hard either, I don't think. And sometimes you've got to run when you're not getting the footy.
Jolly, did he give away a free kick? He has, I think. And Kaczynski is going to be the recipient. Again, less than 30 inside 50s in three quarters, so the Saints haven't been able to score enough or get it inside enough, and the Magpies have made them pay on this big stage.
Yep.
Gwilt, long ball, and there's a mark taken by Blake. We're inside the last 2 minutes, and 74 plays 27.
Oh, Blake gets it off to Farron Ray. St Kilda have kicked 2 goals in this quarter, but Collingwood have kicked 5. Long ball to Revolt. Nathan Brown from behind thumped it away, and Cozzy's got it. He's very slow. Gets it off to Milne. Milne kicks it on the edge of the square and running onto it down there. He's Shaw. Pointy end will sit up and over the boundary line out of bounds in a right forward pocket. Punt road end. Collingwood are premiership bound. 11-8-74. St Kilda 3-9-27.
Take my hat off to Nathan
He's
Brown.
been outstanding.
He's been able to run stride for stride with Nick Revolt today.
The ball spinning back into play. Knocked out by Jolly. Went out towards Lenny Hayes. Now this is Pendlebury. This is Revolt. Kicked it to the edge of the square. Picked up by Jolly. A high ball. Now towards the sack. Goldsack and Gilbert over the top. Has taken a wonderful mark. 40 metres out. Left half forward flank. Punt road end.
Well, Goldsack actually got underneath the flight of the ball too early, and he just had to be stationary, which gave Gilbert a launching pad to take the high mark.
He's been their most dangerous forward, Gilbert. He's only been there for about a quarter and a half.
The unfortunate part of it now, it should be the hard part, winning it. This should be the easy part.
He should
Seal
just
the deal.
a fingernail inside left big stick for a natural draw, and it sails through the goals. St Kilda 4-9-33, Collingwood 11-8-74. Triple M Penrite all scoreboard today.
Yeah, well, no, he desperately needed that goal. He's gone down to the back half to kick that goal. He'd be running back saying that second quarter. I had Maxwell where I wanted him. I was winning the ball. Ran into 3 open goals. 3 open goals. 3 that you just put down normally. And that was probably the end of St Kilda's run.
Let's have a look at this. You see Mick Malthouse on the OPSM replay just stalking the boundary, not happy. He's 41 points up in the granny with about a minute to go till three-quarter time, but starts in the middle here. Darren Jolly, peerless with his ruck work.
12-1 centre clearances, Collingwood favour Carlton Draft.
50 seconds left in this third term. Here's Pendlebury again,
Like a
bringing it
13.
away. Straight to Farron Ray and back to Lenny Hayes. Long inside 50. Going to bounce in front of Revolt and Kaczynski. Brown again wins a wonderful one-on-one. Off to Maxwell. Maxwell's kick, and it hits, guess who? Darren Jolly at half-back.
We talk about all the best players on the ground. Nathan Brown, Jolly, Ball, Pendlebury, side bottom. Could be lucky to get a St Kilda winner at the moment.
Darren Jolly short.
I think that's a really good point, Sputter. I would find it really, Zach Dawson on Travis Cloak would be a win.
Maybe Goddard.
Yeah, Goddard's had a great game.
High Maxwell. Swan to fly from the front, has it fisted away from him. There's the siren, three-quarter time.
Premiership quarter, JB.
Collingwood fans up out of their seats. They can smell it. 11.874 to 4.933. Triple M Penrite Oil scoreboard. Mechanics who use Penrite Oil take proper care of your pride and joy. Brendan Burke, Gary Patey, the Diamond family, 75 years plus.
Three-quarter time in the grand final replay. The margin is 41 points. What about that succession plan? I think Eddie perhaps pulled the wool over our eyes. He was talking a success plan, and one of those members of the succession plan is Nathan Buckley. He's with Matthew Richardson.
Well, Bucks, you're 41 points up. Last quarter of the year, you look to have it won. What was the message from Mick?
Look, it's just more of the same. We've been very good. Our structures have been good for 3 quarters. That's why we're in this position, so we need to do it for another quarter.
It's going to mean to you to be a part of a Collingwood premiership?
That'd be fantastic, and all credit to the 22 blokes that are there at the moment for doing 3 quarters of the job, so let's finish it off.
And the fans, mate, they're going to go berserk. It's going to lift the roof off this place.
Yeah, mate, we'll worry about that in 30 minutes. Good on you.
Good luck.
Isolate your best players, your Pendlebury, Ball, Jolly, side bottom, Nathan Brown in the back half, your individual heroes if you like. But the cornerstone of this side all year has been their capacity to pressure the opposition, never give them any time, never give them any space, force the turnover, hit them on the rebound. And today, they did it last week up until half-time, but they just came out then in that third quarter and went bang, and it just broke open. Eventually it was going to, because to maintain the intense pressure from both sides is an issue. And I think this quarter you're going to see a Collingwood side in the black and white, Spud, who are going to run like frenzied animals because they know they're 30 minutes away from glory.
Well, the Carlton draft stats, three-quarter time margin in the 1990 grand final was 40 points. Today we're 41. And you're right, the better players on the ground, it's going to be tough, Norm Smith medal voting, because seriously, you can put 7 in there and 4 of them are going to be stiff. And on the OPSM replay screen, Luke Ball, this time last year, St Kilda player. He's looking up at the scoreboard saying, how good's this?
Doc, I should say, for SBC Manbeans.
Yeah, not expecting Sam Fisher to see any play this last quarter as well, so the Saints will be one down, about 100 to 81 rotations, Collingwood leading that, but a lot fresher looking. The St Kilda boys need to be if they're going to get through 8 points last week, 41 this week to get back, James.
Here we go with the final term. Magpies by 41 points. Big crowd. Going to celebrate your sense. Here's Big Rex.
So was knocked out by Jolly again. Del Santo over the football into the hands of Tooby. Tooby kicked the long ball down towards Dawes and Gwilt. Gwilt and Dawes, the bounce didn't favour anyone except Gilbert. Broke the tackle but went without the pill.
Another tackle.
Off the half-back line and went towards Jolly.
Side bottom
and
again.
A wonderful pass by side bottom found Jolly, who hand passed to Benny Johnson. Kicked a long ball down all over the head of Cozzy. Can't get it. Zach Dawson hand pass off to Clinton Jones. Jones took a bounce in the goal square. He's in trouble and he hand passed it off further afield to Peake. Back to Jones outside 50. Pressure. Tooby has taken the mark and went bang to Benny Johnson. Right half forward flank. 55 metres out the Punt Road end on the Great Southern Stand side. And he's got a little bit of a lead and it comes from the young boy indoors. And Dawes has marked it. 30 metres out, right half forward flank, pretty acute angle.
Well, all Collingwood need to do is have some shots at goal and just take the juice out of the clock, take the required amount of time, take another half a minute off the clock.
So you would think party time for Collingwood. They lead by 41 points at the moment on the Triple M Hard Yakka scoreboard. And Dawes takes a breath. Well, he might tonight. Spins the football, comes to 40, comes to 35. He's kicked a goal! They cannot lose Collingwood. Dawes' second goal is an absolute ball terror. Collingwood 12.880, St Kilda 4.933, Triple M Hard Yakka scoreboard. Any hope, any spark is now dead.
Enjoy it if you're a Collingwood fan. Sit back and enjoy the next 30 minutes because it's the sort of stuff you're going to see. They'll start to take a couple of shots. They'll start to suck up the atmosphere. Take their time, as Spud said. Look, there's a fanaticism about it right now, and they're powerless, St Kilda. Absolutely powerless.
And in the middle again, the trouble with St Kilda, it goes back to a centre bounce. 13-2. Carlton draft centre clearance is Collingwood's favourite. They got smacked in the middle of Saints.
Unbelievable performance by this unbelievable side wearing black and white. Graham to Jones. Jones on the left just kicks a floater in the jolly direction. Picked up by McQualter, but straight to Harry O, who arched the back and walked away from a couple. And then kicked one sideways, and Nicky Dell was able to pick it up. Too far out to score. Little left foot ball to Peake. Outside 50. And Peake.
Nothing happening.
Well, St Kilda just one-dimensional. They hope Riewoldt just takes the mark of the year every forward entry.
And bash straight into the waiting hands of Jolly.
So
off
easy
to
to pick
Pendlebury.
off.
Pendlebury back to Swan, back to Pendlebury. Now side bottom, what about those names?
Yeah.
And side bottom to Dawes. It's just a procession here for Collingwood.
Well, St Kilda need to, in the future, get some dimensions around their forward half, their superstar Riewoldt, because it's antiquated. They're just the kicking hope to Riewoldt, the 2-on-3. It's just rebound city.
Tell you what they need, you almost think, Gaz, is a bit of small indigenous work down there.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the tip rat does historically, except maybe in the biggest of games. What they need is some support running through the midfield. They haven't got the genuine leg speed, really, that cracks games open.
Talking, like an Aaron Davey or a Matty Campbell even, or someone like that, who gives them a bit of ground level spark, because the Pies, long ball forward from Heath Shaw, fisted away. Wellingham's been good. Can he step through? Yes, he can. Didak just outside 50 gets a handball in the Dawson direction. Montagna, boot to ball, straight to Shaw, who takes it on the wing.
Shaw now to the left half forward, Luke Ball, and the crowd rise in unison. The former St Kilda skipper is going to be a premiership player for Collingwood. Deep into the left half forward flank, Dawes. Hand past Thomas. Thomas kicks a goal.
Clever.
Thomas kicks a goal.
Luke Ball.
And Collingwood are absolutely home and hosed. And he's just exploded.
Oh, he has.
And Collingwood 13-8-86. St Kilda 4-9-33. He's done a spud!
OPS
He's done a spud!
Settle down.
He's just gone broken down.
He's done a spud! Where's Plugger?
The emotion of it all's caught up with the Magpie president.
He's entitled to.
Exactly. When you invest as much time and effort as you do, and you're sitting back here in a full house watching your side go 50-something plus up, you are entitled to do what you want. And good on him and good on the rrest of the Collingwood team.
Gary Pert was there. Jack Kennedy. Well, that was a bit of a low blow, Rex, but anyway, you're right again.
Sorry, Spud.
13-8-86 Collingwood, 4-9-33 St Kilda. And the famous words in that song that people have giggled at for so long is actually going to end up being true. The premiership is a cakewalk. Here is Leroy Brown, had his handball partially smothered. Walking through now, Schneider on the logo. Handball back to Lenny Hayes. And his inching ball to Goddard works. Goddard inboard to Nicky Dowell. He can take a ping at him from long range. Going to bounce in the square and go through.
Yeah, they get the bounce.
5-9-39 St Kilda, 13-8-86 Collingwood. Triple M Hard Yakka scoreboard.
He's been honest, Nick Dalsano. He's had the 24 disposals. He's kicked a goal. I think after the game, the AFL will be thinking, do we have... If the blowout looks like it's a blowout, do we have grand final replays?
Yeah, all that'll get taken into consideration, Spud Regal. I've got no question about it. It's just right now, though, the spread of this Collingwood side around stoppages and their ability to outnumber was evident early in the game, and they've kept it up. So they are supremely conditioned here.
It is an amazing scoreline.
Get down to the dock, Rexy.
Yeah, despite that goal then, Rex and JB, the Saints fans are starting to file out already behind me, so they're actually leaving the ground. There's been dozens leaving in the last 2 minutes.
Del Santo received it from Goddard. He kicked it forward. A one-handed mark by O'Brien against Milne, who hasn't fired a shot. Kicked out to the right half-back flank, and this is Thomas.
See, they haven't really been tested too much even, have they, today? That's a disappointing thing.
Well, Milne last year in the grand final goalless. 10 disposals. Today he's had 3 and goalless again. That's not a great CV in the big game.
Pendlebury got it to Didak and got it to Swan.
Every stat, every possession's going to get a rousing ovation here from the Collingwood faithful.
Swan will come back and give it a Didak. Didak, he's got Maxwell or Nathan Brown, and he's got any amount of players. Thomas is saying kick it back. He said, no, I might just kick it down to the wing position to a leader, Pendlebury. Thumped away by Graham over the boundary line on the wing on the outer side.
Again, 13 goals, 10 different goal kickers. They do not rely on any one forward.
So the ball now spinning back into play. Lee Brown, McAvoy got a fingernail to it. Hovering out the back there, Pendlebury all tied up, and the umpire to bounce again.
And the logo out of side. OPSM replay screen. Ross Lyon clueless as to what he can do. It's just out of his hands.
JB, this time last week, it was amazing. Goddard, probably another, 10 minutes? Goddard takes a mark to go 6 points up in the grand final.
Yeah.
And a week later they get smashed.
13-8-86 Collingwood, 5-9-39 St Kilda if you're just joining us. The Magpies are going to win their first grand final since 1990. It's been a long wait for this massive supporter base, and they are going to enjoy themselves.
There's Ray Shaw, father of Heath Shaw, and his brother Reece, Sydney Swans, on the 8% replay screen.
Lee Brown got rid of McAvoy, worked down to Swan, around the body, high on the head of McCaffer. Blake there as well, football over.
Swan's second half's been a bit better, Astro. What's he had in the second half?
He's racked up 13 disposals opposed to 7 in the first half.
Tell you what, the boys' side bottoms game stacks up against almost anyone's on the ground. He's been clean and got value for his touches.
Here comes Wellingham on the boundary line. Goes for a running banana across the face. And behind is the result there. 5-9 to 13-9. Triple M Hardyaker scoreboard.
You're right with side bottom, Gaz. So I thought he's only kicked the one goal with an Ash Chua scoring assists. Who is the leading scoring assist player on the ground?
Side bottom with 8 for Carlton draft.
O'Brien was there trying to take the mark from the kick out from Gwilt, but now side bottom. Hand passed it back to the centre wing to his skipper in Maxwell. Maxwell to centre half back to Nathan Brown, who kicked it to Swan on the wing. If he can get him, he can't. He can't.
He's going to be
Swan
in
still
contention.
yelling, go on.
He's going to be in contention too, Rex, Nathan Brown. To keep Nick Riebold, if he does, goalless.
Swan gets it, got a lead from Thomas, and Thomas will mark it on centre wing. Daisy Thomas, the boy from Druin.
He stood up in 2 grand finals, Rex. He's been unbelievable.
Certainly has, and back to Swan. It's certainly party time. As Collingwood 13-9, 87 leads St Kilda 5-9-39. And the ball in the hands of Pendlebury, who went thump down to Harry O'Brien. And O'Brien up in front of Zach Dawson took a wonderful mark.
Fitty.
And Harry O starting to do some trash.
Starting to gob off.
Yeah.
It's a big 50 too.
It is a good size 50.
It's about 60, JB.
Yeah. If I was Harry, I'd just hang on to the pill and try and kick a goal. Punt road end, he'll kick it from outside 50. 87 to 39, they're miles in front, Collingwood.
What's your celebration, Jim, if this goes through?
The kick on the way, right to lefter. He's got it.
Look at him.
Oh, he sunk to the knees.
He's done the
Sunk to the knees, Roger Federer style.
big Harry O.
14-9-93 to 5-9-39, Triple M Hardyaker scoreboard.
Well, we were critical of Harry in the last quarter and a half last week. And then he was one player that was desperate to atone for his last half. He's been terrific. Again, another goal scorer, 11 different goal scorers on the ground. It's impossible to defend against. And again, you look up the other end, you look at Nick Riebold. How many times have they gone to the big St Kilda skipper inside their forward 50? Who's been the number one target, Astro?
Nick Riebold actually level with Milne, 3 apiece for Carlton draft, that's all.
Well, they probably didn't get there, that was the thing. Shaw, Thomas.
14-9 to 5-9. A destroyation. Here comes St Kilda out of the centre, and Del Santo thumped a long ball down towards Milne, and O'Brien, and Riebold goes up. O'Brien takes a crumb and went off the half-back line and gave it to Luke Ball. Ball now, formerly of St Kilda. He's a skipper now, a premiership player for Collingwood onto the centre wing, and Gilbert went up in front of Pendlebury. Took a mark, got it on quickly over the top. Went to Nicky Dell. Worm-burning, mongrel, finger-breaking punt towards Milne. It went off to Jones, who kicked a long ball to Milne, and Milne has marked it in the left forward pocket.
Good ball, 7 clearances. His direct opponent, Lenny Hayes, 1. He's the second
Milne
best.
comes around and kicks a goal.
Sorry, Rex.
No, that's okay. He kicks a goal. St Kilda 6-9-45, Collingwood 14-9-93. Milne, first sighting.
It was his first sighting, his first goal in the grand final. We're just getting back to Luke Ball. Hasn't used the ball extremely well, but he's had the 7 clearances, 10 contested possessions. Lenny Hayes, the North Smith medalist last week, he's been brave, Lenny, 13 tackles, but only the 1 clearance.
Pendlebury comes for a sit. So does Dale Thomas having a spell. They'll get back on for the final moments, I'm sure. Sidebottom and Brown. Still Sidebottom 2 years ago, best on ground at TAC Cup Grand Final with 10 goals. 2 years later, he's in contention for best on ground in an AFL Grand Final. That is unbelievable to get your head around.
93,853 in the house. And a lot of those are wearing black and white. Here comes Didak out of the middle. Beautiful kick for Lee Brown. Couldn't take it. Handball back to Blair, who goes back to Cloak, who goes back to Didak, still outside 50. He kicks a little one to Jolly. Drops what he should have taken. Thumps the handball back to Didak. So another stat in this chain of play. Nothing to go to, so he's got to go round the body. And Blake's able to take a mark on Blair. Defensive 50. We have 11 and a half minutes left. Collingwood by how far? Over the top, Schneider. Goldsack to close him down. Turnover. Heath Shaw. Kick smothered. Gets it back. Runs around. Left foot inside 50. Wellingham can run on and kick a goal, and he has.
He's been good too.
15-9-99. Williams got a couple. St Kilda 6-9-45. Triple M Hardyacker scoreboard.
Yeah, Darren Jolly, have a look around. There's winners everywhere. This Norm Smith voting's actually got hairs on at the moment because I got to be honest, there's 7 players that deserve to go in there, and I can only put 3. They're all Collingwood.
Well, they all would be deserving winners, Spud Regal, so I wouldn't stress too much about it, mate. It's a subjective thing.
Yep.
What we see here is, I think, what a lot of people suspected was going to happen last week. That the run of Collingwood and their pressure would wear them down. I suppose it's come a week later. It certainly fooled me after the first week because I thought the Saints were going to learn from it, but best side all year, Jim.
Yep.
Wins the biggest game.
No doubt.
Here they come again, Jolly. Got it out the side, bottom who hand pass it over the top to Heath Shaw. A long ball inside. Lee Brown will go up and nearly take a mark. Gilbert comes through and dropped the football. The ball came out through the hands of Cozzy. It's tough and it's rugged, and still Collingwood put their life on the line. And with 10.5 minutes to go before the hooter, Collingwood are premiers. They're 15-9-99. St Kilda 6-9-45.
Can he cough a footy up? Cozzy.
Jolly to the back. Through came Gilbert. Again, a tackle inside forward 50, Spud.
Unbelievable.
They're able to kick it out, but Maxwell takes a relieving mark, and he's only 55 from home.
The tackles are unbelievable stats. 58 tackles in the forward half for Collingwood. 19 for St Kilda. And it's not all St Kilda forwards' fault because they've been outnumbered.
Yeah,
it's hard to get tackles when you get outnumbered.
It's leg speed too, Spud, I reckon. Is that they just aren't able to get there in the end. And Cozzy certainly, McQualter, Eddie, those sorts of blokes, just, they struggle to close, whereas Collingwood separate themselves from opponents on possession.
What about little Blair? This time last year he's playing out of the Gippsland way.
Well, Maxie's sucked every bit of time out of the clock, and now he kicks a long one and misses.
That's all he did. He got rid of 30 seconds.
Yeah, he did. That's all you need to do, though, Big Rexy. Spud said it not long ago behind the results. So it's 100. They've brought the ton up, the Magpies. And they lead this one by 55 points. And we are inside the last 10 minutes. Reid dropped the
free kick, Goddard.
But it's going the other way to Goddard.
Harry O'Brien pushed him out.
So Goddard, centre half back, kicked a long mongrel punt to half forward in the sack.
Been a good inclusion.
He has. He was brave to drop Davis, but the Sacks got his premiership medallion to Didak and went on further field. Now Dane Beams has got it, kicked a long ball down towards side bottom. He goes up, he can't take it. And here's a bit of a go. Is that Blair?
Yep. And
it went off the side. And a minor score, Collingwood a 15-11, 101, St Kilda 6-9, 45. Triple M hard yakka scoreboard. Gwilt has got it out to Lenny Hayes at centre half back. Hand pass back to Gwilt. Gwilt hand passed over the top. Now this is Jones and he hand passed back to Hayes. A hot ball. It went to Baker and Baker kicked it out towards Blake. But coming back, whoa, beautiful one-handed Mark Beams. And they're chewing him up, Collingwood.
Back to Didak. All sorts of time now. And he sure has played wonderful football. Back to Maxwell. They drag him out of defensive 50. The kick from Maxwell wasn't great. And therefore it's going to be thrown in out of side. 6-9, 45 Saints. 15-11, 101 Collingwood. In front of 93,853. 8.5 minutes left in this grand final replay. The Magpies are marching towards a famous grand final victory. Heath Shaw off to Tuvey. Tuvey inches it forward, but the kick was too strong for Blair. Marked by Baker. Off to Dawson. Now to Peake. Peake's got Eddie on long. Kick goes in that direction. He takes the mark at half forward. Inside 50. Reid gets back. Can't take it. Neither can Schneider. And it goes over. What about Nick Riewoldt, Gaz? Can you believe that he could have such a small impact on a game this size?
I can, given the way that the game was played in the first half. He was just not allowed any room. He was double teamed. But since that time, they've been so belted, so dominated, that there just hasn't been any footy going forward. And take nothing away, Nathan Brown is in the best 5 players on the ground for mine.
He's Shaw to Swan to Cloker, took a mark, kicked a long ball down to Jolly. Jolly goes up, nearly took it. Beams ran on. Coming through Dempster. Dempster gave it to Leonard Hayes. Took it a hand pass across there to Goddard. Goddard now took a bounce. He's got no support. Went to Nicky Dell. Came back to Milne and went back to Montagna. Here's Peake. Runs to half forward. Kicks a long ball down. No one at home except Reid. And he takes a wonderful mark in the last line of defence. Plays on and kicks it out to the half-back line. And the mark taken by Heath Shaw to Johnson.
Gave it to Johnson over the top beams. Nick Riewoldt's numbers, Chua.
13 possessions, one behind JB's never been held goalless in a final for Carlton draft.
Maxwell goes forward. Thomas runs onto it in the pocket. They love him.
And there's something in this, Jim. The Collingwood's goal spread has been as big as anyone in the comp. 10, 11, 12, 13 goal kickers. All of a sudden, Nick Riewoldt, the absolute P for St Kilda, doesn't score a goal. They've got 6 on the board and they don't look dangerous one little bit. And that bit of play summed it up. They didn't kick it from the middle because he was 1 against 4 down there.
Ben Reid coming off the ground. I'm sure Doc Larkins will be all over that. Looks like he's done for the day now.
Daisy Thomas from the paint, the boundary line. Can he thread one from out here? It's working its way back. Just missed it. 15-12, 102 to 6-9, 45. And we have 6 minutes left in the 2010 grand final replay.
Yeah, you got to wonder now whether the Saints are going to get another crack at it, Jim.
They've got the second oldest list in the comp, guys.
Yeah, and that's as the ball goes out of bounds.
Behind the Bullies.
And it's 2 in a row. Oh, it's 3 in a row now. 3 grand finals. Agonisingly close last year, draw, and now belting. Well, it's a way back from here.
The other way to look at it, Gary, is there's plenty of youth and room in this Collingwood side for more of this September stuff.
They ain't going anywhere, Jim boy. They're around for years at least.
Jolly, short from Swan. So they will be rejoicing right around Australia. Millions of Magpies fans, and end-on-ender inside 50 is chopped out by the Saints defence. Blake is able to get hold of it at centre half back. Little one to Graham. Graham can go to Riewoldt. The kick just hits him on the wing.
Well, that's a better kick to Riewoldt. Kick the grass. Allow him to lead onto it.
So he kicked it into the centre of the ground and gave it a Ray and gave it a Gilbert and Gore. Gilbert went straight down and it's marked by McQualter 40 metres out. The other thing is, the incredible thing, Mick Moldhouse might coach 2 premiership sides, and because of a contract, he's finished.
Absolutely, every possibility. They are short price favourites going into next year already, Collingwood.
And they're hungry. McQualter from 45 metres out. Got under it a bit, but he's kicked a long goal. No, it's marked to the last line of the bench by Maxwell. No one from St Kilda was there. It came back now from Heath Shaw towards Maxwell, out towards Thomas. Run onto it, Gilbert. Oh, coming through there, the hand pass by Dempster. Went off to Nicky Dell. Went forward, but beautiful defensive play by Maxwell. They, together with Shaw, have been magnificent. And the crowd go ape dropping.
What about Cozzy just stand there watching the ball goes over his head and it gets marked on the goal line by Nick Maxwell? Please. And John Brumby on the OPSM replay screen congratulating Eddie Maguire.
Yep, he's a passionate Magpie man, is no Undy Brumby. There's a couple of bounces for Johnson and the kick is good to Leroy Brown. 200 games, 3 clubs, premiership medallion for Lee Brown. Kick to Tuvey. And back to Lee Brown. Inside the last 5 minutes. Back to Johnson. Johnson's kick across the face to Maxwell. Short to Thomas, his numbers, Chua.
26 Carlton drafts and a goal.
2 wonderful grand finals in a row from Daisy Thomas. 3 minutes 50 on the clock. Luke Ball comes back on the ground. I reckon
what a feeling.
Pendlebury will get back on at some stage. This is the time, Jim. This is the time where you stop worrying about the game so much and start sucking in every memory.
Goddard had his legs taken out from underneath him. Kick forward to Milne, just outside 50. He walks around Milne, loads up to the city end and has kicked a goal. 7-9-51. Now St Kilda to 15-12, 102 Collingwood. Triple M Hard Yakka scoreboard.
Well, he's kicked 2 last quarter goals, but he'd be saying we need him in the first quarter. Dempster's coming off the ground, looked tired. Ross Lyon said on your show Thursday night, Gaz, which was pretty honest, I thought, but it sent a message to me because I was bullish about the Saints all week. And when you have the senior coach talking about an old list they pulled up sore, the mental pressure was with Collingwood, but the young legs, and today, I think it's been vindicated. They look very, very tired now, the Saints. They've been brave.
Yeah.
I don't think they've got the second best list in the comp, and I think we need to take our hat off to Ross Lyon.
No, he squeezed every inch out of him, Spud. The concern will be what happens next
on the bench.
Prior to today, Collingwood's greatest winning margin in the GF was 48 points. Margin currently 51.
And with Mick Moldhouse, what a great feeling, walking out the bench. His first premiership since '94. It's been a long wait.
It certainly has. And the premiership celebrations will be long and hard. It went to Thomas, who went thump, nearly cut Wellingham in front. He now kicked a long ball from centre half forward down towards side bottom. And side bottom has marked it in the right forward pocket of the punt road end. Still in the last bit of sunshine before we go into daylight saving, and Collingwood are home, and the premiership celebrations have started with Mick Moldhouse getting all of his bench up with him, and he is going to enjoy this. So side bottom goes thump. He goes thump for his second goal.
Unbelievable
And
performance.
at the 26-minute mark of the grand final replay in 2010, Collingwood 16-12, 108. A thrashing St Kilda, 7-9-51. Triple M Hard Yakka scoreboard.
2 minutes 38 on the clock, and it's just spilled over everywhere. It's spilled over in the box. It's spilled over on the boundary. Amy Park's gone nuts. Men with tattoos and mohawks are crying openly and hugging each other. It's extraordinary what's going on here at the MCG. Nathan Buckley down there with Maxie Hudson, Scotty Waters, all of the assistant coaches on the ground. And I tell you what, Steele Sidebottom, he is going to give the Norm Smith one hell of a nudge, that young man. And what a 2 years of footy he's had.
57-point lead for the Magpies. Jolly again out of the middle, Spud. As this one's picked up by Wellingham, taken in a tackle, and no one able to break it out of there, so they'll do it again.
I reckon Luke Ball, who is just full of class, he's just sitting there. There's 2 minutes on the clock thinking, I can't believe my luck here.
Work to
Great
ground.
story, isn't it?
Great story.
Couldn't do the trade. They couldn't do the trade this time last year. And then it was in the pre-season draft.
There was a bit of angst there too, Spud, don't worry.
Yeah.
There was a bit of angst between Luke and the St Kilda team.
Dave Butterford there on the boundary line with Mick Malthouse.
Ball up
Listen to the
again.
crowd now.
McAvoy brought it to his feet. Lenny Hayes again stuck his head over it.
It's going to be one hell of a roar in 2 minutes and 12 seconds time.
Tell you what, it's going to be one hell of a party for about 2 weeks.
Gee whiz.
Or months.
Do not go out tonight.
Get the club lock on the car, Gary.
Get out of town, Jim.
He's able to step around. Kicked it into the centre. Mark dropped by McQualter. Revolt picked it up. Couldn't find a target with his handball. Taken in a tackle again. Look, he's just gang tackled. Eventually they work it forward to Snyder. Snyder gives it off to Graham. From outside 50, Lou Graham. Long ball, no one home. Maxwell takes it.
Fitting.
Shaw's been unbelievable too, boys. 28 disposals.
And he gets it from Maxwell and takes it. If you go out tonight, lock up with Lockwood because you'll need it. Collingwood supporters are everywhere. The ball to ball.
Listen to the crowd.
And Luke Ball, at his newly adopted club, has taken the mark and gets it to Harry O.
What a feeling for Luke Ball.
1 minute 25 to euphoria. And it's Harry O'Brien off the left half back flank down onto the centre wing. Here comes Jolly. Going up McAvoy. Took a wonderful mark. Hand pass off to Gwilt. Gwilt went thump with a long ball in towards Cozzy. He goes up. He tries to claim the mark, but Shaw smothered off the boot by Revolt. Hand pass to Jones. Went across McQualter. Hand pass out to Hayes, who kicks a point. And that's the story of the day as we run down with 51 seconds to go. Collingwood 16-12, 108. St Kilda 7-10, 52. Triple M hard yakka scoreboard.
44 clearances to 25.
Kick into Didak. 48 seconds left and Dids.
Oh, get ready, stand by.
Jolly can barely run in front of us.
Short to Harry O. Didn't quite get to him on the full. Gets it to Ball. Ball out wide to Leroy Brown on the wing.
Jim, they've done it the hard way, the other thing. They've had to draw one and come back again, which I can't imagine a more rewarding premiership to be won than having to do it 2 weeks in a row.
What about the flip side, the Saints, guys?
Devastating.
3 grand finals in 12 months. 3.
Devastating.
And walked away with zippity doodah.
Didak back.
10 seconds on the clock, Collingwood
10
fans.
seconds left. And they're just running it down. Didak.
3, 2.
Here it is. Siren! Collingwood have won their 15th flag in the most emphatic fashion. 56 points and the party begins.
Well, have a look at the Collingwood coaching staff. Mick Malthouse. 4.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's 21 Collingwood players have emerged. Luke Ball has gone to his old teammates and commiserated and now rejoins his new ones.
That's classy from Luke Ball.
Class written all over it. And class written all over this Collingwood football side. 2010 premiers, well done. They are going to go nuts.